You cooked yesterday? Or you forgot about today?
No, yeah, what I cooked today, I haven't even posted yet.
That's coming. Oh, exciting.
It's always a little behind, you know what I mean? People are probably like, why is he eating at 11:30 at night, this crazy meal? It's like, we've eaten and we've already digested it by the time I'm posting the shit. You know what I mean?
First, I mean, people don't realize that, hey, this is an art. It's not just,
I know.
it's not just the production, but it's the post-production that goes into it, right?
One has to, put together, the right filter, and then you have to, work on the sharpness. 65 and 60 sharp is not the same thing. You know what I mean? And then if you mix that with another particular filter, now you're throwing everything off. Yeah.
Now you need to reshoot again and get with your sponsors, and of course, I never miss your cooking show.
The producer is always like, man, here we go, more time, come on. I tell you,
let's stretch it.
It's not easy being cheesy.
Unless it calls for cheese.
Yeah, in that case, it's pretty easy because I fucking love you. Dude, I have gotten bien come mierda when it comes to this. I'll tell you that right now.
God damn it, you made me spit my water. Hold on. You made me laugh at the point, and I was like, shit, I'm going to spray this shit all over my keyboard. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, now we can. All right. So you're a cheese snob now. So the stinkier the better.
I would. Yes, actually, that is true. But I'm very Monica when it comes to that. But no, speaking of cheese, speaking of stinky, I'm actually referring to Parmesan cheese, which tends to be pretty stinky. But so you can get already grated Parmesan cheese, right? I mean, you get it, and there's different levels of quality, right? You have your it comes in a green container. I can't even think of it, but it's already grated into a powder, and it's like it's so cheap you don't even have to refrigerate it. Because it's not even refrigerated. You get it in one of the aisles and stuff. You're like, what is this crap? I mean, I think you do have to refrigerate when you open it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to refrigerate it until you open it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you have a few other ones that are very similar like that. Then you have your ones that are already graded but they keep them in the chilled out. And then of course you have your block. And so I went to Publix and we were making something. I can't remember what it was, but I was like,
Publix. I would expect you to go to Whole Foods.
Cheese. Publix has actually a good array of cheeses, but you have to get.
I wouldn't know. I mean, I like cheese. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not to that. I don't want to live in the cheese house. I'm not to that level.
I want to live in the cheese house, but the problem is, I won't live there for long because I would just chip away at the walls. But what was I going to say? Oh, so I got a block, right? And they're saying the saying or the experts or whatever, whoever knows cheese as well, they go, if you're going to get Parmesan, you got to get Parmesan Reggiano, right? Parmigiano Reggiano. And it'll say it on there, right? And it's like official shit, but it comes in a block, right? And so I got one, and it's like a $9 block. You know what I mean? So, and so that's what I grade, and then I grade it as I need it. You know what I mean? So I bring out the little grater and then grate a little bit of it just to throw on top of my pasta and shit like that. And bien come mierda. That's my point to this. Like, this is really some stupid shit that I'm doing. You know what I mean?
I guess you also grind your own coffee. You buy the actual coffee beans.
I would if I could, my friend, but nothing beats Keurig's quickness. It's like it's perfect. It comes out the same every time. I use a specific creamer from freaking Cinema Dolce creamer from. I guess that's also kind of fucking stuck up too, isn't it? Because it's Starbucks. So.
Well, Starbucks. Well, there you go. Well, what they're saying is that you don't drink coffee. You just want the flavor of coffee. From whatever can give it to you is fine, as long as it tastes a little bit of coffee.
My coffee tends to be dark. I don't make mine light, and I don't make it sweet.
I do make it sweet. No, I do like it sweet. Not as well. Yeah, I guess it is.
I know you like it sweet, sir. I know you do. So let's call it what it is, sir.
It used to be worse. It used to be worse. It used to be like melao.
It was insulin. Let's call it what it is. It's insulin.
Yes. And you finish drinking the coffee, and you have the caramel basically that it became
at the bottom,
sugar at the very bottom. It's like, yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah, that's like the prize at the end, like the Cracker Jack box and shit.
Oh god damn it! You gotta stop talking. Now I'm gonna want coffee. I'll be making coffee right now.
I'm not like that, dude. I literally have like 2 to 3 cups every day, and in the morning. And it's like I can't have any more. I cannot have any more at any point. You know what I mean? I cannot. I shouldn't. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. I shouldn't. Not that I wouldn't. Like if somebody offered me, yes, I would. But I shouldn't. Not after having 2 to 3 cups in the morning. It's like that's a little too much coffee in one day.
Well, see, I wouldn't have them in a row. That's the thing. I will spread them out a little bit, because I feel like once I have a cup of coffee, another one that's just gonna send me straight to the bathroom.
Oh,
it's like once enough. But I used to pride myself on the fact that I could drink coffee at whatever time at night and it will not bother my sleep. And I will say it will not bother my sleep. And I guess I gave it too much thought to where now whenever I drink coffee, I notice that I don't get to sleep, that I'm wide awake at like 2 a.m, and I'm like, God damn it! I guess my powers are gone now.
It's also age, bro. I hate to say this, but it's true. You know what I mean? We're not like John from work would say. We're not the 25-year-old model anymore. We're
not spring chickens.
We're not spring chickens. We are. Myself, I'm the 1976 model here. Some things start to break down a little bit.
I like to think that we appreciate in price, in value as we get older.
I mean, yes, we do. I mean, it's the truth, but it does require more care.
Yes, more maintenance, definitely.
More maintenance, and and if you're not constantly, tuning up. I love all the metaphors, all the car metaphors. Let's bring it on.
Yes.
All right, let's get this bad. Actually, you know what? Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is the real episode 232 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
I haven't even practiced my line. What was it? Oh yeah, JJ! Whoop!
Yes. That voice, of course, is Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister. What is up, sir?
How do you do? Yes. We are here, and I guess we just decided to go with it. So
we just, yeah. All that's going to be in the intro. We're just it's going to be like, I'm going to put the intro music like right in between it, and then boom, just right into it. You know what I mean? It's going to be awesome.
The conversation start with me like, oh, that's just going to send me straight to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's the very first thing. Yeah, that's going to be the 2 transitions after that, and it'll be pretty good.
Because we do it live. I mean, you're listening to this recorded, but obviously we don't have a script. We're not scripting this.
No, there's no. I'm sure from prior episodes, people probably know we have no script going on.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, you guys hear me when I go like, that's all, folks.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Mr. Chaos Reaper is unfortunately still on a hiatus. We miss him deeply.
We do.
But he will eventually come back. We may actually have to do an impromptu episode just randomly one day. We'll see. We got holidays coming up, so schedules may differ here and there, and we'll see what happens. But
And if not,
do Halloween's coming up. What are
we
you
can always
you
call
doing anything for Halloween? Is your
it.
subdivision even allowing people to do Halloween?
I know I'm a freaking HOA. No, man. I mean, I'm excited about the fact that we're having Halloween. It's coming, but at the same time, I'm kind of upset because, like, I know it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's face it, everybody's gonna be it's gonna be quarantined. Everybody was gonna, that I doubt that we might even see, kids knocking at the door and trick or treat
I think
and stuff like
honestly,
that.
in my
There's not
subdivision here,
gonna
we
be
have.
parties. Go ahead.
I hope not. Jesus.
Yeah,
Um,
I know, but
the
that's what I'm saying.
in my subdivision here, they put it on there because we have like there's a closed Facebook group for the subdivision Hollowbrook, and someone asked the question, and there's some people who want to do it and they feel like they will. You know what I mean? The unspoken rule is if the front light's not on, move on to the next house. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's always the deal. And some of the places,
And
some of
trick
the
them or
the
trick
what
them.
they trick
They
them. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
they trick them.
Instead of treating, some of the places actually have their garage doors open and you can just kind of walk up and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I don't know, man, because we usually have a pretty decent turnout, and I don't know what
Yeah.
to do. But I posted on this like, no, I can't risk it. You know what I mean? Can't risk it with two people who are high risk. You know what I mean? It's like, look, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
we are the ones giving out the candy, which I guess would be lower risk for us technically, but you know what I
And
mean?
let's face it, the other people, if they're not wearing masks already, they're doing it wrong because it's freaking Halloween. Come on, you should be
Yeah,
wearing the mask.
I agree. I agree.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm a little bit bummed about that.
Yeah,
Which I think
I'm a little bit
Halloween's on a
bummed.
Saturday, which is pretty cool.
Oh, it would have been perfect. Yeah, yeah. And we used to like this is the one where I was playing like you remember you remember that that SNL skit that I sent you last year
Which
with Tom
one? Oh,
Hanks. Tom, oh, I
oh,
know, I
that
could
one. Yes, that
Tom
one.
Hanks playing the character of David Pumpkins, which is
Yes.
like a ridiculous character. It's like the stupidest thing, but I liked it so much, and I was like, yes. Next Halloween, I'm gonna dress like David Pumpkins.
I wonder how
And
many people would not know where that's from.
actually, you'd be surprised. I've shared that
Really?
with a
Okay.
few other people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, David Pumpkins." It's from a ridiculous
Really?
Saturday Night Live skit. People watch Saturday Night Live, and plus it was Tom Hanks, so but from like years and years ago, and it's kind of stupid, but you should watch it because it's kind of hilarious. You just YouTube
I
it.
cannot endorse that statement, guys. I
It
cannot
is
endorse
stupid. I said it is stupid, but it is funny because it's Tom Hanks. You don't expect Tom Hanks to be playing such a ridiculous character. I'm not saying it's funny,
Honestly, I
as
was
opposed
like,
to the other stuff that I send you that it is funny, and I expect some reaction, and I get nothing, and I'm like, this bad. You know what? This is why I'd rather text David Gomez. He'll always get it.
honestly, I looked at that skit with David Pumpkins, and honestly, bro, I was just like, so clearly this was during the writer's strike. This was going on here. Just some grip in the background. I was like, hey, I have an idea for a skit, and they're like, oh, we'll throw it in. We ain't got no writers here. We might as well just use what we have.
It is stupid. It is really stupid. But
Oh
I would
my
have. I wish we would have had something, because it's just it's gonna come and go, and it's not gonna feel
god.
the same. But I mean, what can we do? We're not advocating for breaking the rules and just going outside and just like congregating and having parties or shit like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a shame. But still,
Mhm.
you do want to be. I mean, shit. I mean, you know what business should be thriving right now? Well, from the fact it is, but make make masks, but make them with like scary stuff, scary
Oh, okay.
looks. Just make those surgeon masks. I'm talking about, not the
Mhm.
regular masks. Those types. and that'll
I'm sure
probably
they.
bring
I'm
some money.
sure. Yeah, there's a lot of
They exist. They exist.
pop
I've
up
seen them.
business. Yeah, that came out ever since the pandemic
Yeah.
that are now making masks and hell, I even have my own Aaron Burr mask. So
Yes, you
you know what I
do.
mean?
That's
So
right. You have a
yeah,
Hamilton mask,
yeah, for sure.
unofficial.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is unofficial. Believe it or not.
Yes,
Yeah. So somebody made it for me. But anyway,
there you
well,
go.
anyway, thanks for so much for tuning in, guys. What we normally do. Well, first off, before we even get to that, please go to goodgame.rocks, join the conversation there. Takes you right to our Facebook group. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we do normally do is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into some various news items, and then finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot
This week
topic:
hot topic.
theaters in Jeopardy. And as a side note, I'm glad, and at the same time a little disappointed that nobody called me out on my grammar on the post.
Oh
There's an
shit!
apostrophe that should not be there, and I don't even know how it got there. To be honest with you,
Well, you just
um,
called it yourself now.
I mean, I'm gonna fess up to it, so at least people know I'm not an idiot, and just just put an apostrophe because I believe it belongs. I know it doesn't belong there. I don't even know. I'm just like, what? I think I had a different
I'm
like
trying to look
theater
for it now.
teacher or something like that, or had a different idea, and I just left it as theaters with an apostrophe, and then
Oh,
I went that. So anyway,
nobody's gonna think that you're an idiot for having the apostrophe. They're just gonna think that you're super lazy for not fixing it.
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm sure the grammar Nazis will
There you
converge on
go.
me at some point just to throw me under the bus with that. Anyway,
There you
so the hot
go.
topic, theaters in Jeopardy. We touched on it a little bit, I believe, last week, maybe even the week before, and that is that well, no one's going to the movies. You know what I mean? So those theaters are, I mean, few people are, for the record. But let me tell you, those few people are doing nothing when it comes to the expenses of these theaters. So they're just losing money upon money every week, every day. And we've just heard word, that some of these are looking to close down, and another one doesn't even has a timeline. You know what I mean? It's like we only have enough for this time. Hopefully it'll be outside the pandemic by then. But anyway, so we'll get into a little bit later on the show on that. Sir, let's start with what we have been up to. Sir,
Uh
what you been
huh. Well, I'll tell you what I've been doing. I've been playing a hell of a lot of Star Wars Squadron. Actually, not even a hell of a lot. But I've been playing a little bit. And I'll tell you why it hasn't been a hell of a lot. I reported last podcast that I have just gotten the game and that I almost skipped the podcast by when I started playing and didn't realize that you were like, dude, what's up? Are we doing this or not? Or are we leaving it for tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, my bad. My bad. I got to the podcast late. But it was because the game came out that Friday and I tried it and I was like, okay, this is good.
Mhm.
I was playing it with a gamepad. It seemed interesting, but I think I'm gonna hold off until I get the proper setup that I wanted to use to play it, which is with an actual like joystick. And so I did. Coming on Monday, I got a Logitech X52 Pro HOTAS. Uh, uh, I guess it's a joystick and a what do you call that? Like the
A
the thing you
throttle?
use to a throttle. Thank you. Yes, joystick and throttle. That's usually what the HOTAS is. I don't know what HOTA stands for. Hands on, total
Throttle?
ass, throttle. Oh, there you go. Yes, hands on, throttle and stick. Thank you. Thank you. You see, the non-PC player had to correct me on it, and we're giving it crap for missing an apostrophe or adding an extra apostrophe.
Thank you, sir.
so 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 about the game. First of all, tell you about the game, and then I'll do like a super 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 quick review of the hotas of the hotas itself. Uh, the game, the game's great, but it's not perfect, and it does have particularly a particularly huge problem that I have with it, which it bothers me. It bothers me a lot, but I'll tell you about it in a moment. The game has what appears to be a very interesting story. It's
Mhm.
short, and the
Oh,
reason for that, yeah, unfortunately, this
because it's
is a
EA.
multi. Because no, I think it's actually, to be fair, and we joke about EA games, but so far this is very on EA. It's kind of like Star Wars, the Jedi Fallen Order, which
Hmm.
was also a very well. Actually, that one was very on EA, but you could see where they were maybe thinking of EAing it. That is to say, to add probably like microtransactions and stuff. Like it looked like the signal, the signs were there almost. Like, I mean, not that you could see anything particularly, but the fact that you could get so many types of different lightsabers and the not gear but like their clothing, you can change it on a single player game, made me think
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, they're gonna be doing probably something. You don't super trust EA and this kind of things, but luckily that didn't happen with that game, and certainly is not happening with this game, and I could almost say that for certain because the developers have already confirmed that. Well, not only when they announced the game, they said that there's not going to be any microtransactions, and they have kept the word so far. But they say, well, we're also not planning on adding any new content to it, and that's kind of a bummer because I like what I've played so far. I haven't played the multiplayer, but I've heard good things on it, and and like I this is the type of game that I like to play on that on this uh on this universe,
Hmm.
the Star Wars universe. I
The fi-
want to.
uh, the
Yes,
flying game. Yeah.
the flying, yeah, the sim flying whatever of the type of game, because that's that's the fantasy, right? You piloting your own X-wing, or in my case, a Tie fighter. Uh, that has always been the Star Wars fantasy for me. It was never about just wielding the lightsaber. For me, it was not about uh, being Han Solo or anything like that. It was just,
To be
hey,
fair, if you really, really look at, and I'm really getting really nerdy here when it comes to Star Wars. If you really look at the A New Hope, it wasn't about Jedi's at that point. It was really about being the greatest starfighter.
yes,
And he knew his father was. Biggs left, and he wanted to join. He couldn't. Then they meet up. When they're about to the Battle of Yavin, and
yes,
so it was all about. It was That's literally the basis of Star Wars.
hmm
Jedi's were really more of an additional thing, and I think
hmm
where they kind of lost their way was by making that such a big thing. And it's like, man, I always loved the star battles. You know what I mean? I think the best
yes,
star battle was in Return of the Jedi at the end. It's like that's one of the best film
yes.
star battles. So I love that. Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, and those moments of either on episode 4, battling through the trenches, or on episode uh, s- 6.
Six.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to count. I have to count on Return of the Jedi. Is what I'm trying to say. Uh, they just those huge ass epic battles on your spacecraft are the part that interests me. That's my Star Wars. That's the thing about Star Wars that I like the most. That's why I super super loved the X-wing and Tie Fighter series when they came out, and also exploring the war from the the Empire side of things, because you would think like, man, all these people, all these followers of the Empire, and they obviously believe in the cause. They're not just evil people, like all of them.
Hmm.
And the story, and this, for example, on TIE Fighter, on the game TIE Fighter, the story of it was not about an evil person trying to do an evil pursuit. It was a person that was it was a person that believed in what the emperor wanted, in peace and order through an
In order,
iron
yeah.
fist, basically. Yes, yes, yeah. So that aspect to me has been more always been more interesting. That well, we're the good guys because we are, the freedom loving rebellion, and of course we're gonna fight the oppressors and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, we know about that. We've seen that many, many, many times. We don't often hear the dark side. See what I did there? Of of the battles, but it's because they usually don't win. But anyway, bringing it back to Squadrons. So yes, the story seems like an interesting, albeit expected. I don't expect anything. I don't I don't expect that a branching story or a story where your choices matter, because you don't get choices. It's not that type of game. The campaign is pretty much like, you do this, you do this, you do this. These are, you get your missions through playing the stages, and then you see the end, and that's it. And every now and then you'll jump to the Empire side of things, and then you'll jump back to the Rebellion, and I bet at the end you're gonna just finish with the New Republic side of things. So the visuals are really, really good. Even though I don't remember in Star Wars seeing space being as colorful and as busy. But that's not a critique. I don't think it looks bad. Actually, I think the game does a very good job of making space, which is usually what, just a dark void
Dark.
and with stars. you know it does a pretty good job of making it look interesting. I think it does a pretty good job of making it look a lot, like a lived-in place, if you can call it that. Like, usually when you're battling close to space stations, you might be battling close to a space station and then go through the crevices or whatever of a space station, kind of like, almost like if you were going through a trench, to the Death Star trench, and that those moments are really, really cool, and the visuals on it are really, really good. Like, they did an outstanding job with that. I have to give them props. The soundtrack is exactly what you expect and no less. Is that orchestral, awesome, ever recognized sound, Star Wars soundtrack, uh, that gets your blood pumping when you're in the midst of a very intense battle. Those, just like it did in the movies. Just like the music of Star Wars, the orchestra music of Star Wars. I've always, you know,
The score, yeah, the musical
the
score.
score. It has always like elevated those moments,
Hmm.
very, very, very well, because it is an awesome selection. And it's a mix of, I would say, or it sounds to me like it's a mix of original content and stuff that you will automatically recognize, uh, when you're flying. So that's good. Uh, and like I said, like I mentioned, I haven't played the multiplayer yet, so I can't talk about that. I haven't acquired any Jar Jar bubbleheads or Hula Girl Vaders or golden helmets or whatever you want.
Jesus.
Whatever
You're,
the tchotchkes that you get, that you can just point suddenly like a dice in the. I
so
haven't
your
gotten
TIE
any of
fighter
those.
has not been pimped out yet. Okay.
No,
I got
there you go. Perfect. Right on the money. That's exactly. Yes, I haven't pimped my TIE fighter yet. And I kind of like it that way.
I don't blame you.
I,
I
I
don't
I'm
blame
not
you.
it doesn't seem like you gain stuff like that through the single player campaign. Certainly not on the on our early where I've been playing. And honestly, it's not needed. I feel like you start putting that shit on your on the cockpit, and now you're kind of like messing it up, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're messing up the look. The game makes you feel really good about being inside of one, of the cockpit of one of these fighters. I've actually before the podcast went live, I posted a gameplay video. Now, the way I shot it was it was not a direct feed. It was just camera on the side, so that you can see me playing with the HOTAS setup, so you could understand more or less how is it that it controls with that, because it, like I mentioned, it controls very well with the gamepad. Honestly, it was designed to be playable with the
On Game Pass.
gamepad, and
Yeah.
you know but I knew that I wanted to play this with a fly stick, and I tried it, and even though it wasn't like at first the support was there, but it wasn't super great because there was some what do you call it, that not dead space, but there was some, like, that controlling the ships with a stick felt kind of sluggish
Oh.
because there was like too much dead zone. Like, if you wanted to take, if you wanted to roll or something, you actually had to take the stick all the way, because otherwise, if you moved it a little bit, like, it didn't recognize it because the dead zones were too wide apart. And
Mhm.
luckily, they released the patch for that, and like they fixed it. Now, flying the ships feel as nimble as you will expect them to be, depending on the ship it is. If you flying a TIE bomber, for example, it's gonna feel like a little bit of a cow, but
Correct. Yeah.
it's
No,
you
that's a
know,
good thing. I was literally just that was gonna be my question is
uh,
because I saw your video that you posted, which is on the group, guys. If you want to go check it out, um, is there a difference between flying an X-wing and flying a TIE fighter? There should be, based on just what we've seen in the movies and our understanding of the books and shit like that. But I was wondering if they incorporated that into the game. But it sounds like they did, because it sounds like or I
yeah,
guess that's my question.
yeah.
If you're flying an X-wing, does it move the same way as if you fly a TIE fighter?
Yeah, absolutely. You do feel like, I mean, the difference, like, we got to remember, we're still talking about fantasy stuff over here, and
Of course, yeah.
so but however, the interpretation is what you expect based on what you've seen in the movie. So you usually see TIE fighters being like super nimble and super, like, very, you can just, pretty much fly and drift everywhere and all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. Well, yes, TIE fighters will feel like that. They will also feel like what they are, metal death traps. You are a very disposable pilot,
Yeah.
because especially if you're flying first that old school TIE fighter, the H looking one,
Hmm.
yeah, you're really not gonna last that long, because you don't have super firepower, and you also don't have any shields. So, and you have two huge, side wings that are like, that are literally bullseyes, basically, when you're taking a TIE fighter on the side. Um, so it's kind of silly, but what you lack
It's realistic, yeah.
on power. Yeah, yeah, exactly. What you lack on power, you make up on powers. You're actually more nimble, and if you are a good pilot, you could actually, you could get away from some tough situations. You're gonna notice on the video that I actually didn't flying the uh flying the X-wing. I was able to, destroy all the invaders. I only put fighting against small ships. Like, I didn't put capital ships or anything like that, because that wasn't what I was trying to
Mhm.
demonstrate. I wanted to demonstrate the fast dogfighting. And on the X-wing, I did relatively well. I mean, and you get damage, but you have shields, so your shields will hold you for a little bit. And when you start getting damage, your R2 unit or whatever the computer system is will make repairs. So that that's pretty neat. You're also managing your power system. So you have three power systems. You have weapons, shields, and engines. And depending on your needs, there are going to be situations where you're going to want to bring up your firepower, but that's going to be at the cost of power to the shields if you have them and your engines. And sometimes you want to escape a situation, so you just want to do lower the firepower and increase the shields. Let's say you can even um, manage the rotation of the shields or the focusing of the shields, I should say. So let's say, for example, you make a pass at a freighter. Let's say, to give you an example, and you have full front power to the front shields, and you're attacking, and then you make your run, and guess what? Now your back is exposed, so you can choose to move your shields to the back,
Oh, okay.
and then and use the engines to escape real quick and lower your weapons because you don't need them because you're escaping.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds very convoluted, but managing them even in the heat of battle is not as difficult as it sounds, and it is very that's one of the things that I the original X-wing and Tie Fighters game had, and I love that they brought it. They brought it pretty much intact, and I love that because it makes the flying more interesting than just shooty taking dogfighting and going in circles basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it's definitely a lot more engaged than just trying to align your enemy on your crosshairs.
Sounds
And
good.
you got missiles also that will log and all that kind of good stuff. So yes, uh, the the problem that I have, I mentioned, is, and unfortunately I don't see how this could get fixed, how it could get fixed, and I thought it was bad design, and that is the scale of the capital ships in the game. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like them. They don't feel haha realistic. Haha. Yeah, I'll explain what I mean by that. That usually when you see on the movies a star destroyer,
Mm-hmm.
they're huge.
Yeah.
And the TIE fighters are really, really tiny when you're close to them, and especially when you're going into the hangar, which you can fly your TIE fighter to the hangar of a star destroyer. Um, and the scale of those ships feel very small
Other Star
compared
Destroyers.
of all the capital ships, because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the same thing happens with the rebellion ships. Sorry, with the New Order. Oh, not the New Order. Sorry, the New Republic. um, Although I guess it does start with the rebellion. But anyway, the thing the reason that bothers me is because it like I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Like it's super super obvious. It's something that probably won't bother a lot of people if you're not looking for it, but once you notice, it's gonna be annoying because it's
That's
gonna be like,
funny.
man, you went through you could tell that you went through the entire encyclopedia just to focus on this game, on making every detail like spot on. And you see, especially when you're in the cockpit and you see your controller your panel alive with the different readouts and stuff like that, everything makes sense and it's so awesome. Even on the TIE fighters, where when you see the cockpit of a TIE fighter on the movies, you were like, okay, like what the hell is that even saying? I only understand the crosshair, that's it. But like they went to some extent to make it detailed and believable, and to mess up something that is so basic, Star Destroyer, big, TIE Fighter and X-Wings, small, and it's not like it's not like I'm not saying that they are super tiny, you know. The effect could be convincing enough. It's when you get close where you realize like, I should be flying the miles that this uh Star Destroyer, for example, takes from the back to the front, and instead of just like going like really fast at it because it looks like it's a baby Star Destroyer. You know what I mean?
I wonder if it has to do with, I mean, conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorists here, but we all know, that EA is probably putting a cap on, the budget and stuff like that, and definitely probably on a timeline and all that. And it's just like, look, to do that, obviously, I think I know what you mean. It's one of those things. Like, for instance, this is a poor example, and yet it may kind of make sense. I don't know if you ever play Star Fox 64.
Not
But in
64,
Star,
but
yeah, so in Star Fox 64 has a level where they basically copied the type of ship that was very similar to Independence Day, the big, huge disc that was a city-wide disc. You know what I mean?
yeah. I see what you-
And so, but you immediately knew that the scale was definitely not the same. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so it's just one of those things where you go, oh, but I can only imagine that it's just going to take, more time developing, more development time just to get those Star Destroyers and capital ships to look, to scale. And then
Maybe,
you're
but
going to have multiple out there. Now you have a
that's what
huge
I'm.
space. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it has to do more with the actual space area that you're actually, because I mean you think, oh, you're in space, you can fly everywhere. No, this still a game. It's gonna do the thing where if you fly too far from the mission area, your ship suddenly malfunctions and explodes. It does the typical battlefield thing where it's like, get back to the battlefield or we're just gonna destroy you. So and because of that, I don't get a sense exactly of how big the sandbox, if we could call it that, is.
Hmm.
Well, the space box, I
The space,
guess.
yeah,
Space
space
box.
bar, yeah.
But I wonder if you're right on the maybe it's a matter of, well, we start putting Star Destroyer like, well, ships of the size, to scale, and now like the whole playing field is almost just a triangle. It's almost the Star Destroyer itself. Or I'm focusing on the Star Destroyer, but because I don't know the name of the equivalent on the Republic side. But it's the same thing with the egg-shaped ship, you know. So that particular thing, bothers me. But again, it's not huge. I understand. I admit that it is me, most of it. And like I mentioned, the fact that the developers are they already said that they're not gonna add additional content to the game. That it is, the game is complete. And I particularly don't like the way that they were trying to, how everything has to have a corporatized message. They have to corporatize it because the gamers are too stupid to understand, the real reasons. So they always have to say stuff like, and I love this one in particular. They say like, when we have, the scope that we have in, I'm paraphrasing, the scope that we have for this game is that we wanted to give a game that was complete from beginning to end, and uh, that didn't feel incomplete, with us adding stuff later on down the line like other games. And I'm thinking like, yeah, like every other game that you have on your library. of titles, because that's what they do, right? They release something, and then they release DLC, and then they sell it, and they release more DLC and they sell it, and then they release
Hmm.
more DLC and they sell it. So now they're playing the card of, well, we just want to give you the entire the entire experience, up front, which sounds very noble, and you're like, oh, thank you, this is the new EA, they're turned it, you know but no, this is, they are probably, like, this was not a big project for them. They have other projects, and they have bigger projects, and some of them might even be Star Wars related, but yeah, no, this was pretty much an experiment, and it was almost like, well, we already have the engine, on it, and have the technology, and sure, EA Motors is not doing much right now. People have been wanting one of these games. Let's let them have cake for now. And it sucks. It sucks because it's a really good game. So far, what I play. And then just real quick, touching on the HOTAS system. Like I mentioned, I bought a Logitech X52 Pro, formerly a Cytec X52. Cytec was the company, they got acquired by Logitech a while back, and the reason, the particular one that I got was $200,
Damn.
$199.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, and I picked it up. Well, first off, right now it's extremely rare to find any any of these things on the market.
Yeah.
You
Thanks to
cannot
the
buy them.
recent flight sims. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and the fact that no one, I guess, expected it to be. I mean, they expected the game to be huge, yes, but not the sim aspect of, oh, now people are gonna want to play with joysticks again, because that used to be something like back in the day, but they kind of like died down, and now it's kind of like a resurgence. Everybody's looking for these things. You can't find them anywhere. Even there's some models that are like extremely expensive. Like I'm talking about like $500, and not even those. They're sold out. They're completely sold out. So one of the reasons I got this particular one and I paid that amount was because a it was kind of like the only one that was available at that. That was the first one that I got notified. Hey, we have a few of them available. And I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'll pay for it, and I'll buyer's remorse it later if I have to. And so far I haven't, but it was still an investment. And the other reason why I bought, why I liked it, was because the premium look. There is another model of this same one, which is called the X52, not 52, not X52 Pro, and it's almost the same layout and buttons, uh, but it looks a little bit more plasticky, but
Mm.
it's $149, and it's still
Looks
really
pretty
good.
nice. I'm
Yeah, it's
looking at
still
the one you had, the Pro.
yeah.
Uh, just went into Logitech, and it looks pretty nice, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, you will
What's
think.
the weight? Like, does it have a good weight, or do you feel like
That's
that's
right
where it
there
falls?
is where you hit it. Right there is where you hit it. I
Always
was
wondering.
I was slowly going into that, but yeah, right there is that's the problem that I have with it. I mean, it looks like a premium product. The buttons and the look and everything feels great. The only thing that I don't like, and actually quite dislike, is the fact that you pick it up and it's
Oh
not
damn!
weighty enough. It
Yeah, it's only
is,
like 2 pounds. Shit. The
yeah,
stick,
yeah,
the stick is 2 pounds. Let me see what the
yeah,
throttle is. Throttle is less than 2 pounds, 1.6.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's my
that's a
that's my
problem.
problem with those, because usually at that $200, I mean, I'm not trying. I'm not a stick snub or anything like that. Like I said, I could have bought a cheaper one. I'd be totally fine with it. It was just, this was the one that was available, and it was either this or wait for the cheaper one to be available never, because everybody was for that.
Mhm.
But when you pay $200, you're expecting a premium feel all around, not just the looks. And the thing looks amazing. It looks very and you can probably see it on the videos. It looks very nice and imposing, not like the one Chakra has. See, Chakra has the $500 one. I
Yeah,
forgot what the
yeah.
name of it is, but it is crazy. And that thing is freaking metal. That thing is steel. That thing is weighty, and it's crazy. And I told him, hey man, if you ever consider like name your price.
If you're not happen to be using it, I'd love to take it off your hands. Yeah.
No, I think he'll be using it now because when he saw me playing Flight Simulator, he's like, "Oh, maybe I should dust off my
No.
whatever." I forgot the name of it, but it's really really nice. But anyway, this one the problem I had is that it's not weighty enough. Like it even has the holes to where if you wanted to mount it to something heavy, you can. Like if I want to
Mm,
buy like a piece of wood or a piece of like whatever, make it something nice and weighty, I can do it, but I shouldn't, And I realized, I mean, putting like the only thing that it needed was to have something weighty at the bottom. Like leave everything the same because the buttons feel okay. It has a safe switch that you raise it up. You kind of like the missile button in the middle that you raise it up with your thumb and then you
mhm.
press the button with it,
Yeah.
and it's green and it says safe when it has the cover, but when you raise it on, it turns red. And the button is red, right? It's very cool. uh, and the software for programming, like it has. I'm still finding buttons that I didn't know it has. Last night I was like, oh shit, there's a scroll wheel here. It turns out, and there's a slider here, and these buttons you can move them, and it is insane on that front. It has more buttons that I know what to do with them. Literally. If a game is like Flight Simulator, which I tried it with, and it automatically recognized it, and it programmed pretty much everything, it's awesome because it's pretty much pick up and play, and it's great. Everything works normal. If it is like X like the Star Wars Squadrons, however, then it's a little bit more problematic because it only recognizes the basic stuff, and if you want to use the other buttons, you kind of have to program it yourself. And once you program it yourself, it's cool, but it's gonna take you some time to decide. Okay, I want this here. No, maybe I want it down here, and this other button. Oh my God, what is this third button here? This third nipple. What the hell am I supposed to do with it? And it gets a little confusing. Oh, I also I forgot to mention, I because I had the fever of trying the the joystick. I downloaded again Star Citizen.
Yes. I was looking at the website. It says it is compatible with Star Citizen. So.
You will think
Oh,
that's what they claim, and
that is
no,
what they claim.
I'm sure it is, and I know that people have gotten it working properly. I could not get it to work properly, and I don't know what I was expecting because, of course, every time I load that game, uh, like I'm gonna be disappointed in something, and it's not to say that it is crap or anything like that. I mean, it is right now borderline, like what you call it. It's like they're stealing money basically,
Oh
but it's
wow.
not
Yeah.
crap. It's not crap. Actually, I shouldn't be saying that. But it totally should finish that fucking game. But yeah, I could not get it to work. Even though I was even impressed with the fact that the game used to have some crazy loading times, and this time I tried it and it loaded real quick, and I was like, oh, okay, so I can see where they're making advances, even as slow as they're doing as they're making them. Um, because they're trying to focus on every little tiny detail, or at least that's their excuse. Because we have had games where details are focused on, and their games are finished in 3 years or 4 years, not 7 or 8 years, like it's gonna be the birthday of it tomorrow. So anyway, Star Citizen still crap, still unfinished. I couldn't get it to work, even though the website claims that you can play with the hotel with this particular model. It's still garbage. All right. What have I been watching? And I'll finish with this, and I'll let you speak.
Okay.
I feel like for one game that I have to play, man, I've talked a lot. The what was I gonna say? So I've been watching uh Raised by Wolves, ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
yeah, I completely forgot about that. Actually,
Oh, you shouldn't, because you recommended it to me,
I did.
and we've been watching it like not every day.
Oh, okay.
My wife super loves it. Like she wants to like I don't binge episodes because I can't spend that much time in front of the TV doing nothing. I could be playing. I could be
I was
spending
gonna
time.
say,
If I don't have a controller in my hand, then I feel like I'm wasting
I was gonna say, it's like it
life
just
is
depends what you're
meaningless.
doing, but yeah, okay.
If I'm not controlling the action that's happening on the TV, and I don't mean with remote, then it's lost on me. No, so my wife super loves it. She wants to binge on it. She will love nothing more than for me to have a day with her where we just watch episode after episode after episode. I'm gonna try to see if I can make that happen this weekend. But I've been watching it obviously, and it's all right. It's oh, that's not fair. It is good. The series is good. It's I will go as far as to say it'll get my recommendation. Actually, um, it's a little slow. It feels like it's a little slow, and a little to be fair, what happens is interesting, but it's more interesting to me. It's more interesting because of the plot, like the ways the plot like feels like it's changing or forming or okay now
So real quick,
we're
so
supposed to
that
accept that this is happening now, and here's what it feels like. Here's what it feels like. All right,
mhm.
it feels like one of those. Uh, I play the game where you sit around the campfire, and a person start a story, and then the next person has to add to the
Added,
story,
yeah,
and then the
yeah.
other person has to add to the story. That's how far you know the few episodes, because I've only watched first 6 or maybe 7 episodes.
Yeah, okay. That
Um,
was, I wanted to know more or less where you were in the
yeah,
story.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I
It's
got you.
still building. It's still building. Like it's slow. It's slow. So it's still trying to introduce new things where you're like, well, you haven't done a good job of explaining the rest. And I don't mean explaining in the sense of I need this to be explained to me. Because that could be, we don't. It's not that I'm looking for the exposition blurb, but I'm looking for like I haven't really solved exactly what's going on here before you're adding yet another element of surprise and another element, and now it's like I'm 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 getting lost. I'm not losing interest, and I'm not saying that it gets complicated in the sense of I can't follow who is who and what's happening. I'm getting more lost in the sense of uh, well, this feels a little annoying because I'm not sure you are. I'm not sure episodes are wrapping up in any particular way. It just feels like you're adding more stuff. But yeah. Also, I'm not completely in love with the art design, if I can call it that. Can you call that? We call it art
Set
design in games.
design, yeah,
Set design,
set
yeah.
design, yeah, costume
Yeah,
design.
yeah. Like the costumes in particular, like I get it. So there's a group, and this is not a spoiler, but there's a group that is kind of like the religious group.
Yeah.
Believe me, they will make sure that you understand just from looking at it. Even if you're playing this with the TV muted, you will know 100,000% that this is the religious group of whatever deity is it that they worship, which I think they said the soul, the
Soul, yeah.
soul, yes, soul. So praise the sun, just like Dark Souls. There you go. Oh, there you go.
Almost
This series
exactly, yeah.
is
Yep.
kind of like Dark Souls, and almost exactly they kind of dress in the same vestiges of it, even though this is super sci-fi, and this takes place in like heavens know whatever future, like how many years have passed. um they still have, they want to, they kind of want to marry that old school medieval, no, should call it medieval, not medieval, but
Yeah, yeah. That's
crusades,
exactly what I
kind of
got
like
from it. It was very
the
what do you
crusades.
Yeah,
Want
yeah,
to, they
Crusaders.
want
Yeah,
to
yep,
marry
yep.
that crusaders look of it, a little too on the nose with some of the things, like the haircuts, really, like people in the far future are gonna have the typical the haircuts of the monks of the air, whatever you call them. I don't know. Oh, it's it's a little ridiculous on that front, but again, it is very acceptable. It is very interesting, even though it still feels like things are just happening for the sake of happening. So a solid series. I need to watch some more.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of I will wait for you to finish, and we'll discuss further at that
We'll
point.
have to go- yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. It's good to have a discussion on this on this particular, because it feels like this is HBO. Would you say this is HBO next big series that they're trying to put there, or this is just another series that they have, kind of
This
like a
is
periphery, like small?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what their intent is. I know that they have a few that they're looking at getting started and really like getting people interested in having HBO. One of them is Lovecraft Country, which I have on my list to
Oh
watch, which I hear is really really good.
yeah.
This is another one. This one's particularly is what do you call it? Exclusive to HBO Max. So you have
Mm.
regular HBO, you're not going to have that. Although everybody should have upgraded. If you already have the service, but if you have regular HBO through like a
Like a cable
HBO,
company.
what is it? Yeah, Go. Yeah, that you have the cable company. You're not going to have this. So this is exclusive to Max, and so I know that they're trying to get people onto it. Is it going to be something? Obviously, they spend money. I mean,
Yeah.
when you see a lot, not all of them, but a lot of the special effects, you go, "Ooh, man, this is this is movie quality stuff here." In some cases, in other cases, not so much. Believe it or not. But and I'm sure by 6 or 7 episodes, you should probably have run into a couple of them. But
Yeah.
um, so I don't know. I know that they do want to get people. The problem with this is that it is. First of all, I never felt like they were always leaving the overarching questions unanswered, because you figure that's going to be something that's the main overarching story, right? So in sci-fi, that's always going to be the big question. But little things I felt like they were answering fairly very episode. Like you have one episode, like whatever episode you watch now, whatever questions you have from that episode. Let's say you have 5 questions. The next episode answers 3 of them, leaves the other 2 lingering. And again, you have your main story, whatever. But some things get answered. Some immediate things get answered. You're like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna next episode. Oh, okay. I guess that's how they're gonna do it. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
So the immediate stuff is the big stuff. Does open up a lot. It is very sci-fi though. It's like one of the things like, man, this is like some crazy sci-fi. You saw the first episode, so you just looking at how they created the kids, you're
Yeah.
like, whoa, you know what I mean?
You're gonna have to learn to accept a few things that happen on this by, well, it's in that world. that's accepted, or that happens,
Well, I
or
mean,
that's
if
the
you
laws
really
of
think about
physics.
it, if you really think about it, frozen embryos are frozen embryos. You know what I mean?
No,
And
true.
those do
No,
exist.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
but
So
I'm
it's just the
talking
way
about
they
other
did
things.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's the way they did it, and the little dome when they first set up the dome, and I'm
yeah,
like, that's a cool ass freaking dome. You know what I mean? It's like it's these little things where you go, man, that's mad cool for whatever it is, you know.
yeah,
And then other stuff you're left with like, well, I guess I you know, and then you of course you have your like those holes, dude. Those pits, just
yeah.
the hugest question mark. You know, it's just like the hell is up with those pits? And I
Yeah.
know if people are listening and they have not watched it, have zero clue what we're talking about. But I get it. I get it. It does it, but that's I think to me, and I don't in any way think that this is something. This is not like a 995 type of show. You know, this is not what do you call it? Breaking Bad or
Yeah,
anything like you know.
yeah,
This is
this is not a
not nowhere
flagship,
near.
you
Yeah, yeah.
know.
But it does. It is very interesting and fun and deep sci-fi,
Yeah.
and that's why I think I burned through it, dude. I just kept watching. You know what I mean? And I was just
You're
like,
done with it already? Oh shit.
yeah, dude, I saw it in 2 days. You know, and it's just
Oh
like I saw it
shit.
all.
Wow.
And so I do know, you know, I mean, when I say I'm hoping they pick it up, I hope it continues. If there's one thing I can say about sci-fi shows in general, is when you go to sci-fi, at some point the audience either gets it doesn't develop as much.
Mm.
It's already you're already asking for a smaller portion of the audience. You know,
Yeah.
you want to have a huge portion of the audience. Go make yourself a show like This Is Us, right? You'll get 30
Yeah.
million viewers. You know what I mean? All this stuff. Well, when you make a show like this, you're not looking at 30 million viewers, and you're already limiting by being, you know, by holding back a lot of information. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I'm hoping it does continue. My biggest issue with a lot of these shows, and really pisses me off, that you start them and at some point, it's getting good. Like Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Love that show, dude. And because ratings weren't there, they didn't have enough people watching. You look at the reviews, though. The reviews were always really good. But if
Yeah.
there's not enough viewers, they cut it at some point. You're like, fuck. You
And
know
I
what I
would
mean?
even call that a little bit more mainstream sci-fi than the sci-fi that this is trying to
Yeah,
go.
true, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, so I guess it's my turn. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. You would expect. Oh, okay. So that title, don't like the title.
I mean, but
It's called Raised by Wolves, and it gives you it gives you no indication what this could be about. It gives, if anything, if somebody tells you you're watching what, like Raised by Wolf, you're thinking of maybe a kid got lost in the jungle or some other type of program, some other
it,
type of show that is
in
definitely not that.
essence, yeah, it's almost like that. In essence, I looked at it as saying, okay, I get it. They're being raised by wolves is like the Mowgli story, right?
Right, right.
Where from Jungle Book, if anybody doesn't know who Mowgli is, but he was raised by wolves. He was literally raised by wolves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They found him, they raised him, and they made him his own. But he was different because of it. So I think that's where that's coming from, and I feel that we're going to see a different human out of Campion,
Yeah.
because of that. You know what I mean? So that's what that. I mean, he can already eat radioactive stuff, but anyway.
Now you're
Spoilers.
spoiling stuff.
I know, but it's so random. They probably even know what I'm talking about, and they probably still get surprised when they see it because it's just the show has just so much info. Anyway, I'm gonna start with what I've been playing. I am still playing Hades, and I am still
Oh yeah.
loving this freaking game. I literally was playing as we were setting. Like I set up, and then I brought my Switch in here, and I was just playing it on my Switch. So that's actually what you were hearing when I first came on. That's what I was playing. And it's one of those things where I was playing earlier today, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to do a quick, run to grind on, not grind, but basically to gain some God, some currency of some sort, because there's so many currencies in there. So I'm like, all right, let me just go in for some darkness. I'm trying to get something from the mirror that has I think it has like 1,000 darkness. So I'm like, all right, I need to just grind for this. Darkness. So I go in, and because I'm grinding for it, I go with my best weapon, which is the spear, which I've already upgraded.
I love the spear.
The spear is. Let me tell you, I played with this other weapon which I didn't like, but I did it because I wanted to start it to unlock some of these Titan blood. And Titan blood, for the record, guys, is another currency that you get in the game. So I did it, and I knew I wasn't going to get very far because I'm not very good with the weapon. Not only did I get far, I got to the last area. I'm like,
on that run, holy shit!
Yeah, on that one run. There was.
Wow.
Like, yes, you know what I mean? And so for people, I'm sure many have heard from last week, but for those who don't know, basically, Hades is a roguelike, actually really similar, not in the visual style of Dead Cells, but very similar to Dead Cells in the sense that in Dead Cells you have an area. That area, you start off in that first area. That area will be randomized, things will be different places, but it's still designed and looks the same way because you're in that one area. So in Hades, it's very similar. You start in Tartarus, so all your stuff is in Tartarus. You get to a end boss, and then at the boss, you move on to the next area. And this is very similar here. Not always an end boss in Dead Cells, but here definitely is. There's a boss, and so. I won't say where it is. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but today I'm playing and I'm like, I'm just going to, again, let me go into grind. Let me just go get some more stuff. And like, I'm going to just, and I figured in my head, I'm like, it's going to take me probably 35, 40 minutes to do a good run. Dude, it's like an hour and 10. I'm just like, I gotta go cook. I gotta go make food. So I suspended, I was like, and I'm like, let me just suspend it. Let me just whatever. I didn't want to let it go because I'm just like, I again got past the third boss, and now I'm in what appears to be the last area. So I'm like, okay, let me just suspend it here. I go cook whatever, and I come back. So I'm like, all right, let me see how far I can go into this last area now that I'm here again for my second time. I get to the fucking last boss on the boss in that area, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is like the best run ever. And then, of course, the realization. And not only is the best run, because there's this thing that allows you to resurrect if you die. It's something you can unlock in the mirror. And I have 2 of them. So that means I can get killed twice and resurrect. I am at the last. It's no. You always start with it. It's a mirror thing. So when you have the mirror thing, it's always there. You know what I mean? Nice. And yeah, you have to unlock it though. That's the whole deal. So and you need darkness to unlock it. I get a third one at 1,000 darkness, which is why I'm grinding. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I get to this boss, which to me, I'm going to leave this. I won't say who it is, whatever. But to me, it feels like this may be the last one. Like I've beat this boss, and I am out of Hades. I've essentially completed the thing, and I have both of my things. I'm almost 100% health. Have both of my resurrections. I'm like, it's not going to get better than this.
It's happening. It's happening.
Exactly.
I'm having it today.
And I get him down to like he's got about a quarter health left, and I die. I've gone through this is my first time. This is, and I kind of expected it. I'm like, I don't know what he does. I don't know the moves. I don't know what's going to come at me. You know what I mean? So I have to feel it out. And I almost made it, dude. I was just like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. So you got it. The second time. It's not going to escape because you already know what he does.
Yeah. But on top of that, let me tell you, I got some really awesome boons, and I was playing. And this is, you may look at it as something that's random. It is random up to a certain extent. You just got to know the boons that you want to go for. And if you have a certain weapon, then like for instance, there's a weapon that's basically almost like fists. essentially. Very similar to the ones that you got from God of War. Not the huge fist ones, but basically you got to be up close to hit people. On those, you want to, if you're going to go on that run, then you really want to get the what are they called? The Minotaur hearts. You want to focus on that a lot because you're going to be up in everybody's face all the time. So you're more likely to get hit a lot. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure you have a lot of health and stuff like that. And you can let those go if you have the spear because you're going to be further away from people. So you don't need to worry about that. You just need to be able to dodge. And so, depending on what you have and how you're going, I got a ridiculously good run. I got this boon that allowed me to the first hit, or I should say, it basically it zeroed out a hit, a hit, and then it was like a shield, but it was like a regenerating shield, and it regenerated every 5 seconds.
Oh wow! So you're basically you're freaking Terminator at that point.
So I get hit once, it's gone. Well, I get hit once, it's gone. And it takes 5 seconds to get back. Now, when shit is hitting the fan, 5 seconds is a long time waiting for that shit to come back. And so I had that. I had when I do a dash, I also reflect all anything that be coming, any attacks coming my way. So I'm dashing and reflecting shots back. Yeah. Dude, it was like, oh my god, this is it. It's like this is it.
It's happening.
And I know this is not it. I'm sure I'll get back. But I'm just like,
it's what has me worried. Now I feel like, okay, this feels like a game that is a little longer than I care for it to be. Even so now I'm worried of, am I gonna stick to it for real? Because I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong and everything, but not sure if I'm just gonna be like, okay, let me sit down and grind for darkness.
Well, that's the thing. I go into grind, and I say that when I say it to grind, it's like I'm in 95% of the runs I go through, I'm going with the intent to take it all the way. That's my goal. And every time I do it, I've always had progressively gotten further and further. It may be a stage or two. It may be a good leap, depending on what it is. I am on my 25th or 26th run. And I am what I feel like is at the end. You know what I mean? So it's not really that long. It's just... I feel like the type of game that it is, it requires consistent play. You know what I mean? It requires you to be there because you got to understand the bosses. And if you don't, then you're going to, you know what I mean? You're going to forget how they move and the little things that they do. And let me tell you, the game throws curveballs when it comes to bosses and stuff like that, which I won't say what they are, but it's, first of all, refreshing. You know what I mean? Because you will, it comes to a point where you just... you're not going to feel like this is monotonous. And then on top of that, little things are happening right now, dude. One of my major things, one of the things I was going off was like, I need more of these, oh God, I forgot the name, what they call, but basically these gifts that I can give. Cause I'm like, I'm trying to romance Megara, so I'm like, yeah, that's like my thing right now.
Wow.
Like, and I'm weighing on her. I was like, I think it's worth it.
Do you get any? Do you get props or anything in particular for going, romancing, so to speak, one person?
I don't know what they could be. I feel like
they do.
I'm sure that there is. I just don't know I don't know what it is. Like I have only focused on her. And Meg, for the record, is the Fury. And I've only focused on her. I've given gifts to almost everybody, and they always give you a gift back, and those gifts are very, very cool to have. But for her, I think I'm like the 5th or 6th time giving her a gift. And this most recent time, I went to my room and she's in my room. And I'm just like, whoa. What are you doing here? And she's like, I was just getting my stuff. So I'll see you. And then she left, and I'm like, okay, I'm wearing it down. You know what I'm saying? So,
she's no longer going to be the Fury, if you know what I mean. And I'm sure you don't.
It's no, I have no clue what you're referring to, but anyway, it's little things like that. It's just I have as much as 26 runs. I have not had a run that felt wasted. I have
Mm,
had not had a run that I haven't experienced something new, that I haven't unlocked something new.
mm.
Um,
Wow.
it's consistent every time, and I'm just like, it's to me in the essence, it's almost like this is not a roguelike because this
Mm.
is so opposite of that. You know what I mean? Or to me, right? If you
Yeah,
look
you're
at all
not
the other
wasting
roguelikes,
time. Yeah.
yeah, you're never wasting anything, and because I'm consistently running, I'm
Hmm.
consistently moving the bar further and further and further. And there's been probably twice where I died sooner than I normally do. And on those particular runs, I was trying out new things. I was either trying out new boons, which I'm not used to,
Hmm.
or I was trying out new weapons, which I don't really, not used to either. So because of that, I was like, I'm not expecting to go. I wasn't expecting going far anyway, and I still made it further than I thought. But not as far as the normal runs, the ones that I'm looking to really make my way out. So
Yeah.
anyway, in short, guys, this is too good of a game to pass up. I think it's only like $25. That is a steal for what is ostensibly one of the game of this year, guys. Seriously, that is not even hyperbole. That is
Mm.
for sure on my list. I don't know where it's going to ultimately fall on my list, but I I cannot express
Hey,
more
this,
how
this is the
great
year
this
of
game is.
this is the year of Cyberpunk and the year of Final
Yeah,
Fantasy VII remake.
yeah,
And I mean, we have has this pandemic has sucked ass, but gaming
yeah,
wise and hardware wise and stuff like that, it's been kind of amazing, or it's about to get even more amazing. So I'm glad that at the very least, we have that. We'll always have
for
Paris.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we will always have Paris. Yeah. So anyway, I have watched, believe it or not, that's all I've been playing, but I have watched a lot of stuff, and I'm just gonna kind of fly through it real quick
Only
because a
one
lot of
game.
it. What?
Only one game. You've only been playing one
That's
game.
it. Yeah, yeah, that's all I've been
Are
playing.
you?
Yeah, I have not turned on my PlayStation 4 in a little while.
Oh shit,
Uh,
that's right. You're playing on the Switch.
I am
Actually,
playing Switch.
yeah. Wow, that makes me happy because I was worried about your poor Switch for a second. I was like, man, that thing gets out to be collecting dust because he is not playing. He's already played everything that he cares to play on it. Like, what's
This
gonna
was
happen now?
this was a smart move for Nintendo in a way because it is not to say that Hades won't come out to every other console later on, but it is on Switch and PC. That's it. And
Wow.
so when I saw that, and again, Super Giant, I'm like, no, you guys have my money. I'm going to give you my money. I won't do it in early access. I cannot do early access. And this
Mhm.
game spent 2 years in early access. That
Yeah.
said, once it was 1.0 and the official launch, I'm like, here's my money. No questions asked.
Yeah.
I'm in. And here we are, 4 games in. These guys are 4 for 4. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's like you can't ask for anything better than that. And these guys are really great at it. And I hope that they continue to be independent and not get swept up by anybody. Because I feel like that can alter their their chemistry because it's a
Yeah.
small team. You know what I mean? You have one person who does all the artwork, one person who does all the writing, one person who does it. It's like, and then they know each other well enough. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sometimes,
I used to have I used to follow the Greg Kasavin back when he was an editor or editor in chief GameSpot.
GameSpot, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
GameSpot.
yeah,
Mhm.
way back in the day. I'm talking about like 2003, 2004, and he was my favorite editor, reviewer, um, because every review that he will give, you could tell that he understood what makes a game great.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah,
it was not swayed by the graphics, but everything else is kind of like already been done. And you notice on their games, they always feel like something you haven't played before.
yeah, yeah. The first one was an isometric action game,
Yeah,
essentially with
with
fight.
narration, with
yeah,
full
with
narration of what you
full
were doing.
narration,
Yeah,
light RPG mechanics, and a great story and great
yeah.
visuals. Great artwork. Their second one, which is Transistor, was a full-on RPG. Turn based in some cases, and very different. I mean, it was
You said flat
bold.
RPG. I say more like a strategy game. So
Yeah,
just in that it kind of demonstrates what we're trying to say. That it's hard to it's hard to just
to
put the
quantify
time
what is
in
it,
it
what is it they
of
do. Yeah,
a
yeah,
specific
exactly.
specific genre because it's just something you haven't played before.
For sure. And I don't have to tell you about freaking Pyre. Pyre is a
Yeah,
genre of its own. I don't think no other game exists. This is the Pyre genre. I don't think anyone else is going to do it. So it just exists by
it's an
itself
RPG. It's a RPG with sports elements
with sports element and a visual novel.
and a visual novel. There you go. And
It's all
yet
that together.
it sounds ridiculous, but it works.
It does. It really does
It
work.
works. To be fair,
So
I do like Pyre. I I don't I
Pyre
never
was my
said or
favorite.
don't want to give that. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I like Transistor way too much, but yeah, Pyre was fantastic. Especially the freaking music on that thing is
Yeah.
out of
Pyre
this world.
was Pyre is definitely was my favorite before playing Hades. I think Hades is a great uh it's like the almost obvious result of everything you've seen them do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And it's just like this it was just like leading to this.
yeah.
And when I heard, like I said, when I heard it was a freaking roguelike, I was like, oh, please, not
You're like
that genre. Oh.
no, but they even
And
did that right.
they even did that ridiculous. Like this is the bar for roguelike. That's it.
Yeah.
Any roguelike will be measured by this going.
Damn, wait a minute. Even more than Dead Cells? I mean,
Yes,
come
more than
on.
Death Cell.
Dead,
Oh yeah, for
dude,
sure.
Dead Cells.
No,
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you why. The gameplay in both are awesome. Both of
Uh-huh.
them are electric, particularly even with Dead Cells. I mean, it's a fast pace, lots
Yeah.
of different options, and the artwork is beautiful. All that could
Yeah.
be said about the same thing here. The difference is the narrative. There is a through line narrative that has not repeated yet after 25 runs. It's like it has not even repeated yet. Every time I have
Yeah.
something new to talk about when I get back, and the layout is different. Some people are there, someone's on a break, they went home. You know what I mean? It's like every time is something different, and that's what Dead Cell doesn't have. That's literally the one thing Dead Cell doesn't have, and it's a narrative that's consistently updating
I
and
can see that.
changing with
Yeah.
your runs. And so that's where the edge. That's what I'm saying. That's the edge
Yeah.
that this one has over it. And so now the bar in gameplay was set with Dead Cells. And here comes Hades and meets that bar and goes, okay, guess what? We're gonna one up that and put in an amazing narrative on top of that.
Yeah.
And then you're left with like, well, shit. Now the bar has moved up again. So anyway, real quick, guys, so we can move on to the next segment. First off, I revisited two of 007's awesome movies. One of them was Casino Royale, which I
Wow.
haven't seen it in a while, and I wanted to watch it again. And man, that's such a good movie. It really, really is.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know
a
if
huge fan of Bond movies, so
yeah, it's a really good movie. It's a great reboot to just 007 in general. This is
yeah.
James Bond obtaining his 00 status for the first time, and of course they feel maybe he's not ready and stuff like that, and so it's really, really good. It calls back to old ones like Goldfinger, in the sense that in Goldfinger you had the woman that was found dead on the bed and she was painted in gold, and here she it's wait, was the same one? I'm thinking of the next one. My bad. I'm thinking of the next one. My bad. I think So anyway, but anyway, this one does call back to some of the, like Dr. No in this case. But anyway, it's really, really good. I enjoyed it. just like I said, I don't know what it was. I just felt like rewatching them again, and so then I moved on to the Quantum of Solace, which is the one that came out after,
Uh,
and this one's definitely not. Definitely not as good. And I think I kind of know what it was. I feel like I think they went a little too Bond in Quantum of Solace. You know what I mean? Did you see
oh, that's
Quantum
what
of
people
Solace?
criticize of the first one. The first one, we're like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like, where's the gadget? Like, we want the gadgets, and
Yeah, yeah. He didn't
I
have. They
guess
didn't have
they were
Q.
just
Correct.
correcting.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't have a Q. They didn't have you had Moneypenny at that point. You don't have your regulars, and I get that. But I think that Casino Royale was definitely more grounded. It
Yeah,
felt more realistic for what a spy movie should be in, like, whenever the movie came out, which is I think early 2000s. And so Quantum of Solace went a little again a little bit more crazy. You have this I think it's Honduras or whatever Spanish. You have this a Hispanic general who is, I don't know, selling stuff. You know what I mean? You have this enemy, this bad guy who is, he might as well have a mustache and be twirling it because he's just that obvious. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
have a Bond girl who this is the one, spoilers here for an old movie, but she's the one who dies in bed, and now she's covered in oil, but she's also like been drowned in oil.
yeah,
And so and she's there for a hot minute. You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah.
this went too. It's
Literally.
like it's almost like they went. I don't know. They went a little bit too crazy on it. It's one of those things. I remember seeing Quantum of Solace, and I walked away going, "It was good." Now looking
Yeah,
at
I
it again,
like
I'm like, yeah, I can see why.
it.
Not so much.
I
Then
don't know. I liked it. I never had a problem with Bond movies that started relying more on the tropes of a Bond movie. Which, to
mhm.
be fair, I understand. People like getting bored with, because he was always the same. You got the Bond girl, always with the Bond girl, always with the the evil guy, which was obviously the villain, like so obvious,
Oh
you know,
God, yes.
always with the gadgetry and stuff like that was kind of ridiculous. But I don't know, it was something that I was already looking forward to on those. And the first time I saw Casino Royale, I remember feeling like, man, this was a good movie, but this really wasn't a Bond movie, or at
Oh,
least what I expected, of a Bond movie. But it didn't feel like I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't feel like, oh man,
yeah.
they're just changing this. I just thought, oh, okay, so they're going a little bit more of a realistic route, which is nice. It's cool that they're doing it that way. But then you're right. Then they just brought it back to
Yeah, a little
the
too
next
camp,
level
a
of
little too
camp.
much camp. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was serious camp. It was one of the things where they were taking everything seriously, and you're like,
mhm,
but this is ridiculous.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I rewatched. Another thing I rewatched was the movie Drive, and I love this movie. I own this movie, and I'm going to issue a sort of a social experiment for my co-host here. And
Oh,
I'm going to first say this movie is available, if I'm not mistaken, it's on Netflix right now. So
okay.
you can watch it. One. Two, I'm going to preempt this by saying there's a reason for this, for the record, because it's part of the social experiment. I'm
Okay.
going to preempt this by saying this film has an ending you don't like. Okay,
Oh, okay.
you
So
already
that
know
meaning
what.
it's not gonna have an ending. Okay, gotcha.
All right. So
An ending
I,
I don't like. It's the credits are gonna roll at the middle of the movie, and you're gonna have to stand up and accept the fact that the creator just felt too lazy to finish or didn't know how to finish it. So they were like, just roll the credits here.
so
Nobody's gonna care.
so now that we know that, so the purpose of this social experience, now that you know, like that is already an expectation that you
Uh-huh.
already know.
Uh-huh.
maybe, maybe knowing that up front, you will enter this film and come out of it with an appreciation, regardless of the fact that it doesn't have what would be considered the traditional ending. You know what I'm saying? So that is my
It's
challenge.
called an ending. There's nothing traditional about an ending. It's just an ending ends. Anything else is not an ending.
It's up for debate, but that is my challenge to you. Feel
That's gonna
free
be
to say no.
Next week's podcast topic of the week. Then,
if you want, like I said, feel free. It's one of those things. It's on Netflix now. It is. I think it's one of my favorite films. It stars Ryan Gosling, and he's they literally never say his name, so he's really just driver. That's it. You know what I mean? It's all
Ryan
about
Gosling as driver number one.
It's all about what's shown as opposed to what's said, and what's said is very little half the time. So that can either be frustrating or not. But anyway, that's my challenge. I watched it again. I'm probably going to rewatch it again because I'm just thinking about it now, and I'm just digging it. Anyway, and then the last film I saw, I just rewatched, is 1989's Batman.
Oh, snappity snap!
Yes.
We're talking about This Town Needs an Enema.
This town needs an enema, my friend. So HBO Max, believe it or not, has I don't know if it's temporary or if it's going to be for a while, but all the DC movies, or at least the majority of them, are available on HBO Max. And so they even have it as its own separate channel within HBO Max. Wow. They have all the Batmans, all of them. Even a bunch of animated ones, but specifically the original four. And so I have done this to myself, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it. We'll see. But I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to revisit these classics. You know what I mean? So I've only gotten to the first one. I started with Batman. And so I'm going to preface this by saying I still love this movie. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's no other way of going around with that sentiment.
That said, it has been many years since I've seen it, and there's some things that just didn't age well. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about special effects. I'm not talking about special effects. I'm not talking about that stuff. It's just like some things you look at it. Okay, but I still love it.
That's like saying, well, that's not like saying this at all, but I'm going to say it anyway. Shawshank Redemption hasn't aged very well. Come on.
Oh, no. When is the last time you saw 89 Batman, sir?
Got to be over 10 years ago.
So, an addendum to said challenge is HBO Max.
I will gladly, because Batman 1989 was one of my favorite Batman movies. I've always maintained that it is, and as much as I don't want people to have a heart attack here, but I'm gonna say it. As much as I like, the Dark Knight, I still really like the original Batman. I always like that combination. I always like that. Freaking Jack Nicholson as the Joker, man.
Jack Nicholson's Joker is phenomenal.
He's great.
Jack Nicholson's Joker is not one of the things that it didn't age. Jack Nicholson's Joker is still, to this day, scary. To this day, hilarious. Like, I laugh when he does a lot of his things. I mean, it's just Jack Nicholson loving every second of being this mad clown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is those type of that is for sure. Something that has not changed. Michael Keaton, I still enjoyed as Batman. It's just when I say those things, it's just the little things where you go, oh, that's just that there's something either missing between the two that you just didn't notice the many times that you may have watched it when you're younger, and you just go, you just kind of just let it go and move on. But here it's like after you've seen enough films, and you go, oh, that's not that wasn't well done, or the editing here wasn't really good, or this didn't make sense. And don't get me started on the silly stuff too. Like he has, the Batwing is literally targeting Jack Nicholson. Okay, it is like bullseye on him, and it shoots like 2 missiles and a bunch of Gatling guns, and nothing hits it. And then it gets shot down.
Batman doesn't kill.
I'm sorry. So here's another thing that I personally have to apologize for, and that is one of my criticisms. Wasn't the main criticism, but one of my criticisms of Batman versus Superman was the fact that he was killing so often.
Yes.
He killed a bunch of people here. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Lots of people died at the hands of Batman, and we're talking Michael Keaton's Batman, Beetlejuice's Batman. Okay, so I'm going to just start by saying I apologize for making it sound at any point like that was never the case. Clearly, that was the case. That still doesn't make Batman versus Superman a good movie. There's still a billion problems with it. That was just one of them that I can no longer stand by and say that that's a reason, because if I had to count, I would say there was a good 12 people that died in this film. Okay. And that are clearly dead at the hands of Batman. And so... just FYI.
I think you're making assumptions.
Oh, my friend. Wait till you're rewatching. And that, guys, is all that I've been doing. All right, guys, we're back. It is time for our useless news that you can use. And I'm going to start off right at the top with PlayStation 5's backwards compatible details. So PlayStation 5 will only leave 10 old PlayStation 4 games in the backwards compatible dust. I'm reading this off of Ars Technica. After tearing the PlayStation 5 guts apart earlier this week, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit with another news piece, Sony confirmed nearly everything we'd like to know on Friday about how its new console launching November 12th will interface with PlayStation 4 via backwards compatibility. We should start with the big news that Sony was not clear. Wait, we should probably start with the big news that Sony was not cleared up just yet. Today, we receive our first indication that PlayStation 5 will ship with something known as Game Boost, which is Friday news post suggests may make PlayStation 4 games run with a higher or smoother frame rate. This suggestion doesn't come with a handy footnote pointing us to a list of affected games or features, however, so we don't really have details, past that. Fortunately, Sony did not immediately respond to any requests for clarification. PlayStation 5 will let those older uncapped games tap into the PlayStation 5's architecture, or will certain CPU or GPU aspects be limited for compatibility's sake? I found that let me just move on to that. I was trying to get to the games. So the games that are not going to be available for PlayStation 4 games, not going to be available for backward compatibility. There's 10 games. These are those games, guys. It is DWVR, Afro Samurai 2, TT Isle of Man, Just Deal With It, Shadow Complex Remastered,
What?
Robinson the Journey, We Sing, Hitman Go, the definitive edition, Shadwin, and Joe's Diner.
So they pretty much picked up 10 games that no one was gonna miss, except for Shadow Complex. Shadow Complex is actually a very good game, but uh, they had to throw something in there because otherwise it looked like, let's just throw a list of disposable games that people are gonna nobody's gonna care for this, and it's true. Nobody's gonna care for any of the games that have been mentioned here.
For sure. So
Stands for I like I said, Shadow Complex, but and it strikes me as incredibly odd that that game wouldn't make the cut, considering that that's an Unreal Engine game, and
I'm at
it's
a
not
loss
doing
as
anything
to
special. It's not doing
I was just
anything
gonna say
special to Will. Yeah, it's just it seems weird. Which what begs the question to me is like, okay, so that means because there's another piece to this, which is the vast majority, or I think they say the overwhelming majority of PlayStation 4 titles will be playable on PlayStation 5, and that's wonderful news to hear because obviously that's what you want to hear. The only concern is that the wording. First of all, having 10 games that are like the definite no-nos makes me think like, okay, well, that's fine because none of these games are games that anybody is currently playing right now. That means that they have spent some time, I will imagine, making sure that the games that people care about are definitely compatible, so they are spending resources on making sure that the backwards compatibility is definitely on the up and up. But does that also mean that we're gonna have compatible games that, yes, they're compatible, but they're subject to glitches or weird
I was
things
gonna say
that be
don't
happening?
play well. Yeah, because I'm just looking at this going. So I don't. First off, I don't know many of them. Afro Samurai 2, I think I've
I don't
had
know
the
if
first
any of
Afro
them are
Samurai.
one.
But Hitman Go is a mobile game, or at
Yes.
least I played it on mobile.
Yes.
And so I'm almost positive that Lara Croft Go is available on PlayStation 4. So I assume this is the same makers, Eidos, and Square. It's obviously the same engine. Why is it that Hitman goes? It begs the questions like, is it by choice that you just didn't want these 10? These are the 10 games. Like they went through the list of 4,000 some odd games that they had. Tell us what the 10 games were, the least play games on the entire PlayStation 4. Those are the 10 that we're going to exclude from this list.
Yes.
For reasons.
None of them, yeah, exactly, for reasons. None of them take particular advantage of the PS4 hardware in any meaningful way, right? It's not like,
Correct, yeah.
well, this one has Mode 7, so therefore we can't replicate Mode 7 on PlayStation 5 or whatever. It's not like there is a viable reason.
Yeah, and Shadow Complex Remastered was a remastered
That's real.
They came on an Xbox, which again is similar architecture. It never came to the PlayStation 3, but it did come as a remastered PlayStation 4. I know because I have it. I actually own it.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, that list is kind of weird. Not saying that there's any intent with it or anything like that. It just seems like a very arbitrary list. Because notice that, again, aside from arguably Shadow Complex, again, I think that game is excellent, but it's not like a must play. None of the other games sounds like just like bargain bitch trash. Maybe
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And the sad part is, I look at that and go, I know out of the 4,000 games that there are way more bargain bin trash that's on the PlayStation 4. And why did these 10 get eliminated? Is what it just didn't make like, hey, take all the bargain bin shit out. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do that, you know what I mean? But and again, I'm not saying that about Shadow Complex. I'm just looking at the rest of them.
Shadow Complex. If anything, it almost feels like, well, we should put a good game that nobody's really playing. What's out there that we have? Let's just pick, Shadow Complex. Epic's have enough money.
It seems very random that these 10 were picked. 10 were picked out of over 4,000 games. This is literally, so when they said 99%, they weren't lying. It is like 99.9% that are backwards compatible. But it just feels like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But guys, in that case, rest assured, PlayStation 4, for the most part, is going to be completely playable on PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
For the most part, I'll say the games that matter will be playable properly. If you have some obscure Atlas title, there, your mileage may vary.
Yeah,
exactly. They have said it. They didn't say that exactly, but they have mentioned, the possibility of, hey, this is emulation, basically. This is not, porting or adding stuff, or arguably, or who knows.
Well, then that kind of goes against the other thing, right? Because if it's emulation, then how can they up everything? I guess maybe on an emulation.
They're not saying having boost mode could mean, well, it'll load faster. But I don't think they're retouching. Like they're not doing like Xbox was doing with some of their backward compatibilities, right? That they were adding. Well, now it's gonna have super sampling, or we're gonna it's not that they're adding textures, obviously, but we're gonna throw processing power on it, to pretty it up or whatever, because the rest is, it's gonna be enhanced in some way. This one sounds more like, well, they're gonna look the same, which is fine because PlayStation 4 games look fine. They're not talking about PlayStation 3 titles. They're just might load faster. And hey, if we can have some good loading times on some of the on some the titles of this era,
if we're gonna be able to load Miles Morales at 4K, or 60 frames per second and all this stuff instantly, then you better be able to load something that's from back in the day. It's just
which is a step different than X. Like on the Xbox side, like people have Xboxes. I mean, when I say people, I mean like the press. They already have Xbox Series X, and they have been playing the backward compatible games right now, because that's all they have access to right away. And they have reported that this is like, I see a couple of news places were saying, oh, this is the best Xbox 360 it has ever been. Which is funny because it's like, wow, Xbox 360, okay. And some other people were saying like, yes, this loads the game significantly, faster, than before. I'm talking about shaving stuff that will take an hour, a minute and a half, for example. It'll load in like 15 or 20 seconds or stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not. Notice it's not 5 seconds. It's not 3 seconds. It's not instant or anything like that. Because the reason getting boosted is because they're loading from an SSD, not because they're using the boosting technologies, if they have any, well, whatever. In other words, the capabilities that they're using, they're not using the boosting capabilities of the Xbox Series X by itself. They just loading faster because it's an SSD. An SSD would have loaded those games faster regardless. On this architecture, an SSD wouldn't have loaded those games faster on if you put an SSD, for example, on an Xbox One, it wouldn't have loaded faster because the architecture wasn't there. It wasn't there yet. The the pipes were not fat enough. Let's just say it that
Yeah,
way.
I got you. I got you.
Whereas here, they are, and therefore they can take advantage of it. So it is interesting on that. Now, Sony on the other hand could go the route of, well, these are gonna load super fast like instantly. I don't think so, because that could actually mess up more than fix a lot of games. Some games you don't want them to load that fast for the reasons, like they will have specific, either whether it's gameplay or whether as in the programming itself, they will have specific uh, things that will hide the
The load.
download,
Hmm.
the loading. Right. Where not having the loading could mess those things up. It could mess gameplay. It could mess with the speed of some games
Well,
in a negative
true,
way.
true. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So yeah, it is. It's a little bit more emulation, more hands off, but hey, I'm glad to hear that they have it, because up to very recently we were concerned about, well, what is the backwards compatible situations. I know a lot of people, they like to think, well, I don't care because I'm looking towards the future, and that is fair. I always say, Sony, focus on the future, on the way. Uh, that said, I do have a vast library of PlayStation 4 titles that haven't even open, and I want to play, and I will hate not to be able to. That's why I'm choosing to go with the PlayStation 5 fat and tall. Whenever that gets that's available for pre-order. Again, yeah, I'm getting the one with the disc. I can't do the disc just yet.
Yeah,
And
going
I
this
guess,
list.
yeah. And I guess I have the next one, right? Because
Yeah.
you were done. All right. So this was kind of like pointless and ridiculous, but hey, it has been a slow week on news. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate has been announced alongside Melina, Rain, and Rambo. What?
Yeah, buddy.
You saw this thing?
I
Um,
did.
Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate has been announced alongside three new characters. On November 17, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate will be released alongside a new character pack featuring Melina, Rain, and Rambo. Rain now uses a Qatar and can use magic to open a rift to a previously unknown watery realm. All of his classic moves are reimagined. A change with Melina is the addition of razor sharp claws, which which are attached to gloves. Playing as Rambo, you will find Sylvester Stallone's voice providing the lines to make Rambo feel more authentic. Holy shit, he's actually providing the lines. I figure, man, whoever's
That's
doing that
awesome.
those lines as the actor sounds kind of amazing. And look at that. This characters make up uh, Combat Pack 2. Uh, Ultimate comes with all previously released content, so you can expect every mode, every character, and every feature from the main game, Combat Pack 1, and the Aftermath expansion. There will also be an Ultimate PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S upgrade. I hate that. Upgrade available, delivering 4K dynamic resolution, enhanced visuals, improved loading times, and cross-generational console compatibility for select modes. I hate saying S and X, not the fact that they're coming for next gen titles. I actually like that. Mortal Kombat 11 and Ultimate owners will get a free upgrade to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS versions of their game at no extra cost. Available in conjunction with the Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate launch. Hooray! You know what? time we give some props to the developers that choose to go that route rather than, we wanted to, but I mean, we ran some simulations on a mega computer, and we just couldn't find a solution to give the upgrade of control to PlayStation 5 owners and Xbox owners. So sorry, you're gonna have to buy it again.
Unbelievable bastards.
I know. Let me see. So if you already own the base game, you can upgrade by pre-ordering Combat Pack 2 beginning on October 15, or by purchasing Combat Pack 1 and or the Aftermath expansion. Ultimate will also be released on Nintendo Switch, PC, and Stadia.
Because that's still a thing, apparently. Yeah.
There is a lot more detail here that I care to go about. There's definitely a breakdown of everything that it has. I'm not gonna go through everything, but I am gonna remind that Mortal Kombat 11 does have 2 story campaigns that take place. Take place to it's a time bending adventure, so it's gonna have
Okay.
there's a lot of time travel involved in this thing. It was actually
I
not
saw
terrible.
I saw an interesting, or actually, I think Nick was the one. Nick, because Nick is a huge, my son, for the record, Nick, he's a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and he's excited for Rambo. And I saw the thing, and I was like, why not? At this point, it's they've already included, Terminator, Predator.
Yes, Alien, Predator, not in particular in Mortal Kombat 11 per se, but they have RoboCop. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
I love to have the 5 RoboCop. So now I'm thinking like, okay, you don't have to say who's coming on next, either on the
just
feature pack
surprised.
for this one.
Yeah.
You don't have to, because we can almost guess like, 80s super, action hero. Okay, Judge Dredd. They haven't had Judge Dredd yet.
Actually,
it's happening.
He mentioned John McClane, and I was like, you know what?
John McClane.
As silly as that would be, that's still I would honestly, it would most likely, it would definitely sell. It'll fly off the, I guess, the digital store shelves.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. For sure. that just makes all the sense.
They made RoboCop make sense on it. Why not John McClane? Come on.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
It makes perfect sense.
It would be awesome if they get
Wesley Snipes.
Blade. Yeah, yes, that'd be great too.
It have to happen.
But you got to go to DC for that. That's which they have partnerships, so I guess it's possible. Yeah, yeah, they have partnerships, so I guess but that would cost more probably than licensing goes. Yeah, it could. I don't know.
They had the Joker.
No, that's true. That's true. But did they have it for Mortal Kombat 11?
Well, not for 11. I think it was for 10. Remember, it was the porn.
Actually,
it might have been for 11 because it was the yes.
It was recent, right? Yeah, I feel like it was recent.
It was recent. Yeah, I think it was for 11. Look at that.
You're probably right. I don't know what I'm thinking. So, my next piece, guys, Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer and new game plus will arrive on October 16th.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't wait.
That, my friends, is exactly 1 week from today. Ghost of Tsushima Legends, the previously announced cooperative multiplayer mode for up to 4 players, is coming to Ghost of Tsushima on October 16th with the PlayStation 4 Games 1.1 update. The free update, which will also include a host of new additions and improvements for the single-player portion of the game, namely a new Game Plus mode. As seen in the trailer that was filmed before, Ghost of Tsushima Legends will include a 2-player story mission and a 4-player survival missions. Developer Sucker Punch Studio teases a multiplayer raid that will arrive in the weeks following the launch. That raid, the developer says, will be, quote, an epic 3-part adventure that will require excellent teamwork and communication to overcome, end quote. Players will encounter a new character in Ghost of Tsushima when the update arrives, a character by the name of Gilzen, a storyteller that grants access to the Legends multiplayer lobby. Makes perfect sense.
Mm.
Uh, on the single player side, Sucker Punch revealed that what players can expect in new Game Plus mode: a new horse, new quote extremely powerful end quote charms, and a new merchant that will give players new Game Plus exclusive dyes and vanity items in exchange for collecting a new strain of flower.
I'll
Um,
buy it at a high price.
hello, stranger. Um, I definitely am down for. I'm not down for the new Game Plus. I can't. I just don't. I don't have the capacity within my life to go through it all over again. And I've already platinumed it, so it's like I've done everything possible in the game at this point. You know what I mean? And so. And I don't platinum any games. You know what I mean? You know that. I mean, the last one I did before this was Spider-Man, and the one before that, I couldn't even tell you. You know what I mean? So,
Chatter.
so yeah, I'm excited for it, particularly the multiplayer. I'm a little bit, because of the way things are currently in my life at the moment, caring for a sick a sick elderly. It makes things difficult to do anything multiplayer, which is why I haven't streamed or anything in a while. But I do want to get into it, even if it's for one or two sessions. You know what I mean? I want to set something up. Geo, I know we've chatted on the chat group, but I really want to get. I just heard that Chaos actually did get the game recently, so he's probably playing as we speak. but
Ah.
or not actually as we speak, because he's probably working at this point. Otherwise, he'd be with us. So, but he's been playing
It
it
better
most
not
likely.
be playing as we speak.
I know, what the hell. But I want to at some point get together and really get into this. Of all the games that offer stuff, I still have the Fall Guys. You know what I mean? I've played that a few times, but no one's
I
ever
haven't
playing it. And so I was just like, man, I love to do this, but honestly, Fall Guys can go fuck itself. That's all I want to play Ghost of Tsushima in
either.
freaking
Wow.
4-player mode. And I just want to, man. And I hope we get a chance to do it. It's my point is to say I hope we get a chance to do it, because that is another game that is clearly easily in the talks for game of the year, like Hades. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
for me.
Another one that I have missed this year, man. Final Fantasy Seven remake messed me up badly. I haven't touched my PS4. I mean, so much so that I turned it on, and I don't know. Someone must have been playing with my account, because I used to be like, a low level 13 on my trophies. Nothing crazy or high. And now I realize I'm level 224.
Oh,
Wow!
yeah. I heard. Is it level 224? I don't think it was that high, but yeah, they just revamped. They revamped something recently where they changed the trophies and the level system, but it didn't actually like extend anything. It just, or I should say, no, it didn't extend anything. Like apparently there's this one person who was at level 90 or level 100 and had like maximum trophies, and after this update he was still capped at level 999 now, whatever the new cap is. It just moved him up to the next, you know what I mean? So it's like it's not really extending anything, so it's kind of stupid. I'm not sure why they did it this way.
Well,
But
now,
let me
now,
tell you.
now you gave away my news piece, so
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
might as well take it over
I
now
don't
and
I don't have
finish
the
it.
news piece. Sorry, I don't have the news piece. Go ahead. You do it.
Really?
I don't
This
have it.
kind
No, I don't have it.
this kind of important. Anyway, this whole setup that has now gone wasted. Uh, no, actually, it was kind of funny to hear you talk about it. PlayStation trophies are changing or have changed already. PlayStation 5 gets new trophy level icons. Uh, Sony has outlined how trophies are changing as we head into the launch of the PlayStation 5. In a post on the PlayStation blog, Sony Interactive Entertainment director and director of product management, Toshimasa Aoki, revealed the trophy level will change from its current 1 to 100 range to from 1 to 999. Following an update issued already, uh, your trophy level will automatically be remapped to the new level within this range based on the trophies you have already earned. For example, if your trophy level is, well, let's use my sample, 13, your new level will be somewhere in the low 200s, in my case, 224. Sony's new calculation means player will progress quicker through the early levels, and levels will increase more consistently. Well, great.
That's the same thing.
What
That's
we
what I'm saying. It hasn't changed. I don't know
that's what
why they
no.
did this.
Well, because
I'm sorry.
In PlayStation 5, it will change. You will probably get a trophy for turning on the game now, and
Oh,
for collecting the first coin or whatever, for buying microtransactions, for getting your first loot box with your mom's credit card.
yeah. There you go. The trophy's
So
called the flying wallet. Go ahead.
yeah. Sony's new trophy calculation means, like I said, platinum trophies will count more towards your level progression, making them even more valuable. Uh, Aoki added. With the new trophy level comes new trophy level icons for PlayStation 5, as well as the PlayStation app at a later date. Currently, the trophies icon is just a single gold star, and and if you want to see how they're gonna change, go to Eurogamer and search for PlayStation trophies are changing. PS5 gets new trophy level icons. Uh, Aoki clarified the trophies you've earned on previous PlayStation systems will come with you to the PlayStation 5. No save games, but at least the PlayStation trophies will, huh? The new trophy levels will be reflected in all location. Trophy levels are shown, including past systems, the app, and my PlayStation. Uh, so
I
yeah,
don't know, dude. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
This was the case before. This is what I'm trying to say. Is the difference is as you moved up, and like for instance, I have been level 22 way longer than I was ever level like 17. Level
Mhm.
17 took less time to get from 17 to 18 than it is from to get 18 to 19 and 19 to
Right,
20. Each one, just like any other freaking I
leveling
don't know,
system.
any other freaking RPG, right? You don't,
Yeah.
just because you're leveling up, the next level is not the same 100 points away. It's 200 points away or 400, whatever the case is. You know what I mean? And the next level after that is going to be more.
Hmm.
So it really hasn't changed. It's just changing the numbers. So suddenly at 20 something, I guess I'm at. I don't know where I'm at, but I'm just like, it's not really. It's not really doing anything. It's just giving you these little bits for it to. I don't know. I don't like
Mhm.
it. I don't like it.
It's almost like they're making the whole trophy system is kind of convoluted, right?
It
Like
wasn't convoluted before. It's still not.
it was,
It's still not convoluted now. It said the change really isn't changing anything. It's just
I
making
mean,
the numbers bigger.
it's almost like oh, I don't know. Maybe just have a standard number that everyone can relate to. Like, hey, what's your gamer score? Whatever is it called now? Oh, it's 10,200. What is yours? Oh, is 13,000.
Yeah, but
Okay, so your level is
that's the
higher.
deal. That hasn't
Rather than
changed.
rather than
What,
well, no, I know it hasn't changed, but my point
yeah,
is that I have never liked the trophy system because the trophy system seems it seems like unnecessary math for something where if you just want to measure like okay who's playing more game who have gotten more achievements or whatever you have the numbers which you can mess up numbers it's math they just go higher versus well we're both level 20 but I have more trophies than you. I just have to count how many more. It's just that
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
can
little
still
bit higher
yeah.
on the level, which is a little unnecessarily convoluted. And I understand why they had to do it like that because they're sure as hell wasn't gonna copy, what Xbox did. Let's not forget that this whole achievement crap came out from the 360 era, which they decided to give that, and suddenly like, oh well, now let's have achievements, on every console except Nintendo because Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. Um,
Nintendo needs to catch up. But no, what I'm trying to say is I agree. I agree that I don't think it's convoluted. I just think it's different from the other system, right? And it's okay to be different. You know what I mean? You have a different method of doing stuff. I still do look at, I'm not a trophy hunter, you know what I mean?
mhm.
But I do still look at the trophies and I still look at everybody's trophies. And frankly, yes, occasionally I go to say, all right, where am I in the list of my friends? How's my level? You know what I mean? And I look and I'm like, I'm pretty proud of the fact that I'm like level 22, and most people are not even in the 20s. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, this is great.
But you don't get
What
the
they're
new ones
doing,
because we
what
can both be level 20, and you can have more trophies, or I can have more trophies or more achievements, let's say, or have gotten farther or whatever. But we're both level 20s because I'm at the end of my level 20, and you're at the beginning of the level 20. But we're still level 20.
but
So
you can also see the platinums. Platinums are weighted
I,
more. So
I now you have to go in.
you can say, oh yeah, I'm level 22 also, but I look at your list and go, yeah, but you got one platinum to my 5. So you know what I mean? It's like
But it, for the
there's a
next,
little
but
granular I don't know, bragging rights
yes,
behind it. You know what I mean? And it just makes it fun.
but
But this
you have that on
change,
X. You have the 1,000 point achievements, and it doesn't have to be a platinum something. It could just be, hey, this the number just grew. I guess
no,
I guess I
I get
understand
what
that
you're
part. I
saying.
guess
Yeah,
I understand that the nuance part is fun. I'll
yeah,
give you
that's what I'm
that. I'll
saying.
give you
Yeah,
saying, hey, but I am a lower level, but all my shit has been platinum. Versus you have a higher level, but all your shit is bronze. I can say, no, no, no.
yeah,
I
yeah. That's
actually
what I'm saying.
thinking
Yeah,
about that.
there's a certain pride behind that. But
Yes,
what I'm
yes,
trying to say about
yes.
what they did here
I agree.
is that they didn't do anything. They just said
No.
instead of it being level 20, you're level 200, right? And instead of the max level being 100, it's 1,000. You know what I mean? But where you landed before, you're still technically landing in the same spot. It's just now the scale has changed.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I'll
So
tell you what.
so
Yes, exactly. The scale has changed, and that because remember, people like that. That people like numbers going up. We can agree to that. That the whole level thing.
yes,
People like numbers growing. So it is better to see. Oh, today I'm 224. Oh, tomorrow I'm 226. Oh, tomorrow I'm 228. Rather than, well, it's been a month since I've been level 20. And I've been playing games and I've been gaining trophies,
trophies. Yeah. Mhm.
but I'm still stuck at level
It's
20.
move yeah, it's moving the bar. It's seeing the bar move.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah,
you technically can see the bar move because there's an actual bar.
yeah,
There's an actual like bar that fills in as you go in, and then once you hit the far end, you move on to the next one. The bar's empty again. Now you got to fill it. So it's still
yeah,
the same thing. I get it.
yeah,
I get it. It's in essence what I just said is more granular. Now
yeah,
you can
yeah.
see it. You can see it's almost like a microscope is on that bar, and you can see where the bar is moving. And so I get that.
Exactly.
But I
It's
feel like
no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say if you were gonna do an update like this, I feel like you should move the bar also up. You know what I mean? It's like again, and the only reason I mention this is because of the few people who
Yeah,
are maxed out already. It's like so you did all this, and these people are still maxed out. They're not. They just. I mean, they went again from a level 100 to level 999 maxed out, and they still can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing they do means anything anymore. You know, it's like
this
it's
is
like I mean, I grant and I get it. Out of the millions of people using it, I'm probably talking literally a handful. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, it feels. I don't know. It's a weird change. But they also need to make sure they don't fuck shit up because we all know that there's an occasional glitch where a trophy doesn't pop and you're screwed. You know what I mean?
Well,
You will
that's
never
the part,
platinum this
right?
shit now. Yeah.
That's the part that is important, right? That shit
Yeah.
of, oh, let me with especially there is absolutely 1,000% no excuse for them not to fix this shit on PlayStation 5. That shit
Agree.
of, oh, let me synchronize my trophies. That shit is ridiculous. That is from like the PSP era. That shit needs to stop right yesterday. In Xbox, they have figured that shit a long time ago. You get to point, they're already on the server. You don't have to worry about, oh, the lights went out, or I turned off my PlayStation and I've disconnected it, and now the platinum that I got didn't get synchronized, so I'm fucked. That shit needs
Mhm.
to stop. Because if they're gonna take trophies seriously, yeah. But other than that, the thing with the granularity of it, I understand what they're doing it. I agree that it's ridiculous that they don't up the cap, or why would there need to be a cap? But I understand the some people, it's like saying, well, Mad Dog is 2 feet. Well, now Mad Dog can say he's 24 inches.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And the difference is, you normally, so it's a, and I'm going fantasy football here, and I get it. I know you don't. Most people don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But here's the deal: in
Fantasy
the league
football.
that I manage,
Uh-huh.
I make sure that the points, because the way it works, for example, a running back runs 10 yards, he earns a point, and in most leagues, you have to earn the 10 yards in order to get that point. You know what I mean? And if you earn 9 yards, guess what? You never get the point. You know what I mean? So in my league, I make sure
That's
that
some
the
bullshit.
individual yards count, so that if you don't get the point, the 1 point, you know what I mean? You at least get the 0.9. You know what I mean? So it's like it still counts towards it. So I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? I get the need to see and to feel like you've earned that little bit in
Yeah,
between. You know what I mean? So I get that.
yeah.
It's just, it feels, I don't know, it just feels odd. It's
If
like
it feels like
a
not a
half measure.
necessary
Yeah, it
change.
feels like a half measure to me,
I wouldn't
essentially.
call it unnecessary because I honestly don't know. Maybe there is a legitimate reason why, but if it was just for the psychological sake of let me just see my numbers go up higher, I feel like being a level 20 versus being a level 200 and something. Well, now that seems like it's too dissolved. Like it does the opposite to me. It makes me feel like,
Yeah,
well, it's not a big deal.
yeah,
It's,
exactly.
it's
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So my last piece, guys, is lost right now. I'm still searching for it.
How
Oh, here it
often
is. Here
that
it is.
happens, right?
Oh, gosh, it happens way more often than it should. Uh, my last piece, guys, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. The debut in the racing series of Burnout maker Criterion Games is being remastered for release in November. Stellar
Ooh.
Entertainment, which led the 2018 remaster of Burnout Paradise, is behind this one as well for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. The new version will also feature cross-platform multiplayer. Nice. Taking further advantage of the auto log feature that drove Hot Pursuit to several awards. I remember the auto log, and I remember that thing being this is me talking for the record. You and I played Hot Pursuit when it
Yes.
first came out, and I remember it was one of those things that you didn't have to, yes, we played each other, but there was this other thing because the auto log would tell you as you logged in, it would
Uh,
say, "Hey, Dream Twister just beat your thing by this amount," and it's
yes.
just like, motherfucker, let me get in there. You, and now you're trying to be. And the best part was I was playing your ghost, so I can see where you
Yeah,
were. You know what I mean? And that
man.
shit is
More games need
genius
to do
and
that. More
well
games need to do
deserved. When it comes to the awards, they're mentioning that they obviously won some awards probably at the game developers conference and stuff like that.
that.
Well deserved of that. Back to the article. The quote: "The opportunity for crossplay was like, oh man, we have to do this." Chris Roberts, creative director for Stellar Entertainment, told Polygon, which I'm reading this from. We need to get this on as many platforms as we can. get everybody connected and battling it out. This is the second remaster we're doing, Robert said. So we're treating it with the utmost respect first, but then we're thinking about what feature really will sing with a modern audience. The Autolog, a type of multiplayer social network that allowed for all sorts of convenient, asynchronous pick up and play moments, was the reason Hot Pursuit was a multiplayer game of the year selection for many back in 2010. Subsequent Need for Speed titles embrace Autolog and its capabilities, and EA even carried the concept into its Battlefield franchise for a time, expanding its offerings, the weekly challenges, contests, photo mode sharing, and more to a pan-console audience is part of the natural evolution of Criterion developed titles, said the vice president, Matt Webster. So, anyway, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Let me get. I'm trying to get the. Did I say the date? Does it have the date?
No, I didn't.
No, there's no date.
I know
Next
it's.
month. It just says next month. So,
Oh,
um,
okay.
that said, I'm not a racing guy. I'm going to tell you that right now. I am not a race. Oh, I do have a say. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered launches November 6th for PlayStation 4, Windows PC, Xbox One, and November 13th for the Switch. So I'm not a racing guy, and I dip my toes into a racer probably once every 10 years. You know what I mean? So maybe once every 5 years, something like that. It's just just random, like, let me try this out. You know what I mean? It's just not my type of game. That said, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was one of those games. So I can't say I'm going to dip into it because it's still EA and fuck EA. But I can definitely say that it's tempting. Especially if it's coming out to everything and it doesn't matter who you are. I can have friends on, other platforms, and now we can just go and say, now that same awesome moment when you just turn the game on and it says, hey, freaking Joseph Ruiz on Xbox just beat your score, and you're like, again, motherfucker, let me go in there, freaking beat this dude, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, you have the actual gameplay, which was great. It was one of the really really great games of its time when it comes to the hot pursuit moment where you're either the cop or you're the one running away. So
I've always of the Need for Speed series, my favorite has always been the Hot Pursuit ones, especially this last one by Criterion. I will go as far as to say was the last good Need for Speed game, because it has something original, something really really cool, which was that autolog system, which I remember at another game. I believe it was Geometry Wars 2 had it also, and it was that thing of you don't have to play at the same time, but you can still compete with each other
yeah,
to beat to beat each other high
I'm
scores.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't come up with it for sure.
No, right?
But definitely Geometry Wars versus Need for Speed. We're talking two
Yeah,
different tier games. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
obviously the Need for Speed probably definitely put that type of system on the map.
Ah,
And
you'll be surprised. There was a lot of people Geometry Wars was a huge thing back in the day. It's just that they started milking it and nobody needed a third Geometry War, and by then it died. But Geometry War 2 was huge, bro. It was huge. Um and that was 360 actually. I don't think it came out
no,
on
yeah, I was gonna say.
PlayStation 4. Yeah, yeah. That's probably what you don't know. But
But that's what I'm trying to say is that alone cuts it in half because Need for Speed was
right,
not on one console.
right.
So that alone put the autolog everywhere, as opposed to Geometry Wars, where it was only available where it was. So
Yeah. So my next piece, I wasn't even thinking of bringing it up, but you know what? It's a slow week, and also this was so ridiculously petty that it needs to be called out. And I'm sorry, Xbox, but I'm talking to you.
oh boy,
So A few days ago, Xbox had taken a jab at the PlayStation 5 vertical and horizontal process of, well, setting it vertical or horizontally.
Oh, okay.
Xbox has taken a playful jab at PlayStation 5 after Sony revealed the process for switching its new console from a vertical to a horizontal orientation. In the PlayStation 5 teardown, Sony's Yasuhiro Otori explained that to
Is
turn
that a
the console.
question? Sorry.
Yeah, that's the question. I don't know how it is pronounced. Otori. It has two O's in the beginning, all right? And I don't speak Japanese as much as I would love to. Thank you, asshole.
Sorry. Move on, sir.
No, I don't want to finish. No, no. Explain that to turn the console sideways, a vertical stand needs to be unscrewed uh, with the screw then stored inside the stand, which is then clipped into the side of the console. Xbox responded on Twitter. Showing a slightly more simple process for the Xbox Series X to just turn the console on its side. Laugh with me, Mad Dog. That was hilarious.
It's
Good one, Xbox. Oh my god, you finally got them for this is how you share games on PlayStation 4. You finally got them. You were waiting. You were waiting to unleash that that one. Good one. So yeah, it turns out that there's a later report that says Xbox deletes tweet. Drunk King on PS5 having a removable stand. The UK Twitter account for Xbox fired some shots for PlayStation 5 in one of the silliest way possible because it's 2020 and this is the console war we deserve. Uh, it all began after Sony released a teardown video of the PlayStation 5, highlighting all of the next gen consoles' internal components, yada yada yada. How they show you, I already described the process. Then whoever was running the Xbox UK Twitter account apparently saw their opening. How to switch the Xbox Series X from vertical to horizontal. The account wrote an hour after the PlayStation 5 was posted. So you can tell they were really paying attention to that breakdown, huh?
mhm.
The tweet showed two photos of the Xbox Series X, one on its standing upright position, and the other one laid on its side, no stand inside. Checkmate. The tweet has since been deleted. Through Xbox UK account hasn't said why. Well, gee, it was cringy. Not because anyone should care about two giant corporate brands taking swipe at one another on social media, but also uh, of how it reeked of desperation to manufacture something like the infamous how to share how to share games on PS4 moment of 2013. I will go as far, and this is me talking. Uh, I will go as far as to say one of the best moment in video game history. End my quote, because it's true. At that time, Microsoft was announcing restrictions on how Xbox One owners will be able to share physical games with their friends and family. In response, then head of Sony Worldwide Studios, Shuhei Yoshida, did I pronounce that well?
Yeah.
Okay, 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 thank you. I
Shuhei
appreciate Shuhei,
and Adam
Shuhei,
Boyle. Yeah.
Shuhei, and then the VP Developer Relations, Adam Boyes. No, sorry, Adam Boyes. Cut an incredibly brief how-to video for sharing games on PS4, where Yoshida simply handed one to Boyes. Then apparently, Spontaneous Gag was a big hit, garnered millions of views on YouTube in just a few days. A few days later, Microsoft reversed the Xbox One DRM policies. So basically, we should thank Yoshida-san and Adam Boys for for fixing Xbox because they were they were so burned in such a epically magnificent, godly way that you have never seen a burn of this kind on mankind, I will say, that Xbox had to reverse its DRM policy completely. All right? This is two guys from Sony made Xbox change its course completely. You will say almost 180.
Let me tell you,
360, huh? Get it?
yeah, half a 360. I got you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, well, first of all, here's the difference.
It never gets old,
between
by the way. It
the
never
oh
gets
no,
old.
it does not. That video is you actually have me like queuing it up right now just so we can see it in between the thing. So literally the difference is this. The difference is one is a tweet, and if you're not following Xbox, you're not really gonna see the tweet. You know what I mean? That's one. And two, this was at E3, dude. This was on
Yes.
stage at E3.
Yes.
And all eyes were, and this is not any E3. This is the E3 leading up to a console launch. So this is one of the major E3s. Okay. It's in front of everyone's face where people were just like, oh shit. Did you know that stupid meme where you have those guys going,
Yeah.
oh, and that one dude just like all cool and shit?
Yeah.
That's what this is right here. That's
No,
exactly
this
what
is-
this was.
I tell you what this is. This was your prom night, and you accidentally went in sick and you shit your pants. But you already shit your pants, which is bad enough. All right, a few people know. But Sony went in and just dropped your drawers in front of the entire dance floor, and everybody looked at you and went, "Ah!" And you became pant shitter or shit panter from that moment forward for the entire rest of your adult life. That's what happened to Xbox here. Unfortunately, but it's true. And now, so of course, and they see this little thing that is nothing because I saw it. I saw the stand, the thing, and you know what? I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it
Me
was
too.
very well engineered.
I saw. Oh, yeah, I saw the breakdown. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I thought the same. I was like, oh, that's. I mean, it's
That's smart. That means that they're including it. First of all,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and second, that they thought about it, that they engineered a way to, hey, let's make this console this behemoth of a console, which
oh my god, it
you
really
know,
is big.
uh,
It really is big.
that thing is big as fuck. You know, that's what she said. Jokes aside, that thing
Yeah.
is huge. But I thought it was nice. I even made the comment. Yes, you know what? I like that they thought about that. And Xbox goes like, look, this is you need a stand for it, huh? Look how easy it is with ours. You just have to turn it off, to the side. Oh, checkmate, motherfucker! And everybody was quiet, and Xbox was left like with his high five hand, like, anybody? Anybody? And everybody was like, dude, fuck
yeah.
hell, man.
What is it?
Shut
Oh yeah,
up.
what is that, bro?
Shut up. Just
Get off the stage, bro. Get off the stage.
don't talk to me, man. So I will have to lower their hand and pretending that it happened. It's like, come on, guys. You have some good vibes with a lot of the things you're doing. Quite honestly, I was even. This is the point where at some point during this week I was thinking, you know what? Fuck it. What if I don't stop with the S? What if I go for the X and Go all in. Who cares? I know I'll get a PS5 anyway. I'll get whichever one, the first one. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to do it, but he had me thinking of that because of all the rest of the good vibe. The thing with Game Pass and the other stuff they had done, and freaking Phil Spencer. They do. Phil Spencer should have fired whoever was that UK person. If it was possible. I don't know if he has jurisdiction or he's the president. He actually, they all report to him, I think. So
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah,
like, he
that
does
person
have the
fired.
authority to do it, but I don't think. I mean, as stupid and ill advised as it was, I don't think that would be. I don't think
No,
that's
no, no,
justifiable.
not, not, no, no, no. I know. I'm being facetious. Obviously not. But I can imagine that after after nobody's high fiving Xbox. The Xbox employee that did that, Phil Spencer step on the back. It's like, what are you doing, son? That's not the way we do things here.
I know we don't
Sit
do that here.
we don't do that. Exactly. We don't do that. Yeah,
Funny.
bro. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got, man.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll be right back with our hot topic.
Hot topic.
Well, we're back, guys, and
Should
it is
we?
time
I
for
know.
our hot topic of the week.
We are evil people. I always say we're bad guys. We're
Is
bad
that what it
guys.
sound like when I say that?
Yes,
We're bad.
totally.
We're bad guys. Oh, okay.
And we're bad guys. Sound like, oh, I wanted
All
to be
right.
a good guy. I'm a
We
bad
are
guy.
back, guys. Guys, we are back. How about that one?
Guys with backs. We
Guys,
are
we're
guys
back.
with backs. How does that sound now?
Oh
I
my
have a
god.
question.
Yes, sir.
Should we be playing Genshin Impact?
Uh, I've seen it. I don't know if it's for me. I'm
It's
hearing really good things about it,
I
but
hear nothing but high good vibes on it. It's a free to play game. Uh,
and there
it,
lies my issue for the record.
no, true. Yes, fair and very fair. It's on almost everything. Like this thing is on PC, but it's also on mobile. But it's not. Doesn't seem to be a shitty mobile. It seems to be like everything that I've read so far, which is the reason why I'm asking, should we be considering this? Is yes, it is. It does have the the microtransaction trappings and all that, but it's not the type of game that pushes you towards it. Uh, and I'll include the yet, because you never know how with these things. But it's one of those games that it is it is free to play and it has its free to play trappings, but it deserves because you're getting a good game, a high production value game, evidently, because it's fully voiced. That's another thing. The story, the single player campaign, which you can finish, is fully voiced.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've
and
heard nothing but good things.
and and it's not predatory when it comes to the microtransactions. It's there, which I always say. I don't have a problem with free to play games that know how to do. I mean, because the game's free. I mean, obviously they need to get their money somehow, and if they choose to do it this route, well, I mean, I would rather pay for everything in advance and not have to worry about it. But if you're giving the game for free, and that means that a lot more people are going to be playing it, even if some of those people are whales that are going to spend thousands of dollars, like who cares? I won't. I wouldn't. Um, like I
All
don't
right.
mind that. I'm okay with that, and I'm wondering maybe I should install it and give it a go to see. So that I can at least talk about it,
Okay.
and maybe see if it's something. Is it on consoles also? Is it on PS4?
I honestly I've seen it on. If I want to say I've seen it on the PlayStation
Store
channel,
channel?
the channel. So I don't know if it's out yet or coming soon, but I believe I want to. You know what? Let me just look this shit up. What the fuck? Look it up now.
Yeah, let me see what platforms. Let me see. Uh, da-da-da-da-da.
Let's see,
Uh,
PlayStation Store.
we currently don't have any plans for an Xbox version of the game. Wah, wah.
I
It
mean,
wasn't,
Genshin. If it doesn't come to a Japanese console, it would be stupid. So
but it was revealed that a PS5 iteration is in the works. The game is current.
Genshin,
The game
what
is
is it called?
currently available. Genshin Impact. The game
Impact.
is
Yeah, it is on PlayStation 4.
currently available on PC, PlayStation 4, and mobile, and a Switch version is confirmed to drop in the near future. So again, it's like it's almost in everything except Xbox. Um, but if it becomes a hit, then I could see it. I could see it being released, later on. Because why would they not, right?
It's pretty
Especially for a free
vibrant.
to
I
play game.
mean, yeah, just from
Yeah.
looking at it, it's a vibrant looking game. I don't know sometimes.
I don't know. I mean, you should probably you could be pleasantly surprised. I will if it's on PlayStation 4. What do you have to lose other than space on your hard drive?
No,
Right,
no, for
a hard
sure,
drive.
for sure. I played Terra that way as well.
Oh my God, Terra! Wow, I
Yeah,
played that game
because
in
it was free.
2012.
It's just like, okay, let me give it a shot. It's an MMO of some sort. And let me just give this
Yeah,
shit a shot. I think I played like an hour or two, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
I was
that
like,
game. I mean, that game
not
was
much.
good for its time, but yeah, yeah, no. And I think Terra was another one of that was another free to play
Yeah,
game if I
that's how it
remember
was
correctly,
right. Yeah.
right? Yeah. Wow. Fucking Terra. That's a.
I want to say it was Shadow who recommended it, and that's the reason why
Mhm.
I even got it.
I
Because
bet she must be playing this one. If not, if you tell her about it, she will be playing this one because this game has her name written all over it.
I agree.
Should be
I
called
agree.
Genshin's Shadow, and the shadow is her.
I
I might be.
agree. I concur.
God, it's hot as fuck in this room. Jesus Christ. Let me see. I got the AC on 70, 77. That was my wife. 75. Let's put it back to 75. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road.
Okay. Guys, we are back, and it is time for our hot topic.
Hot topic.
Hot topic again, guys, is theaters in jeopardy. So I'm going to start with a news article to kind of give us the sort of the groundwork as to. First off, we all know that theaters are struggling. Wait, let me preface this by saying theaters are actually struggling pre-pandemic, which is why
Really?
they sell popcorn at like $5-6 a pop. You
Oh,
know what I
well,
mean?
I always thought that was the I always thought that was the business plan. I never saw of it as they been struggling.
Oh, they've been struggling. Yeah, no, theaters have
Really?
been struggling. Oh, absolutely. First, you have obviously your people who are pirating movies and stuff like that. Obviously, that's
Right.
losing. And then on top of that, you have people who just wait. They don't just go to the theater. Theaters have become more and more expensive. You go to the theater. You and I were going to the theater. We're paying $36 for two people. And
Yes.
that's just to watch
Just
a movie.
just
You
to
know what I
wait,
mean?
just to go in. Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't include anything else that you get. So it's already a pretty expensive, not a pretty expensive, but it's already there's a cost behind going. And so because of that, it's become this thing. So a lot of people don't do it, which is why when we went to those, think about it for a second.
Yeah.
We were going on Saturday nights to
Hmm.
watch movies at these theaters, and they were never packed. Never packed.
No.
Now you go to, let's say, like the AMC, that the over in Altamont where they didn't have assigned seating and all this other stuff. Those theaters were packed all the time. Why? Because they were actually lower priced. Why? Because when you have all these amenities, you charge a little bit more. So,
Yeah.
and I don't when I say packed, I was like ridiculously packed because I remember, dude, I can go back as far as freaking God, 95. You know what I mean? Where I would want to go see a movie, and I look online or I look or call in, and well, at this point it was 95, so I was definitely calling in, hey, what the next showing was, and they were sold out throughout the day until showing at 9 p.m. or something like that. You know what I mean? When's the last
Yeah.
time you went to look at a film to see available time slots and it was sold out?
It will have to be the premiere of a hero movie, of a Marvel movie, to be more specifically, or a Disney movie or something like that.
Correct.
Because more often than not, I was able to get seats. And
Always.
one of the
Yeah.
things I have actually liked about us having assigned seating, which I always wonder, well, gee, all theaters should be, like this. Of course, I was never thinking the movie theaters were in trouble. If anything, I was thinking, man, of course they are offering, luxury seating now, and I mean assigned seating, and crazy. Look at how much they charge for, for to go to the movies, and then for popcorn and a drink, almost $10. It's like, this should be, there should be
They
laws
should be
against this
rolling in
shit.
they should be
This should,
rolling in money, yeah.
yeah,
And yet
yeah.
they're not.
I
They were
never I
making
never
yeah.
thought that we're, wow.
They were making very little from the ticket price. Very, very little from the ticket price. So all of it was made through concessions, which is
It,
why they would want you to go to the concession. And the reason for assigned seating and the reason for all these other stuff that they were doing wasn't to make more money. It was to make you come in, because
mm,
less and less every year, less and less people were going to the theater. Every year, consistently, for the last 10 years, less and less people were going to the movie theaters because the
well,
prices were going up and up, and even more, the films were becoming available faster. I mean, you
yeah,
go back to 95, you didn't see the movie while it was in the theater. You were waiting a year before you can see it
yeah, on
on
video.
video cassette. Yeah. So it was like a long, long time. So that's not the case anymore. It would be in the theater it'll be in the theater today,
Mhm.
and 5 months from now it's available on. So it's like, I'll wait for that one to come out. In
Yeah,
theater prices going up, you're becoming more and more selective. So those
yeah.
things that they were doing, 4D, for instance, 4D. If you don't know what 4D is, 4D
Oh
is those
yeah.
theaters that have those chairs, and it sprays a smell at you, so it smells like whatever's on the freaking screen, and this chair moves, and all this. It's just and that was like a $30 for one ticket. It was like a $30
Never
fine.
did that.
Me
Never
either. I
had that
never did that either.
experience.
Yeah, I've always kind of figured that was just a touch much for me. You know what I mean? But all those things weren't to get more money. It was to get you back, get a reason for you to come back to the theater.
Mm.
And so that's really what it comes down to. And now, well, now there's a pandemic. So, you're already struggling to get people to come to the theater before, and now they're not coming at all, period. Just really your absolute most diehard are coming in. And, that's it. Nobody else is, you had a lot of your early birds, right? So I used to go on Sundays early all the time because it was the most empty. You know what I mean? And it was the cheapest, you know what I mean? And all, if anybody was there, it was maybe, a couple grandparents here and there. You know what I mean? That was my time slot for me. And so, but they're not coming anymore because they can't risk it, because of the pandemic. I
Wow.
mean, I don't blame them. If you're high risk, the last thing you want to do is go to the theater. So before the pandemic, they were struggling. Now, 7 months into the pandemic, things they're constantly moving movies out, right? Big blockbusters are being moved out. So let me start with the first article here.
Mm.
This is from USA Today. Cinema chain Cineworld announced Monday it will close all of its movie theaters in the United States the week after the postponement of the new James Bond film left a big hole in their schedules. The closures, which affect all 536 US-based Regal cinemas and 127 Cineworld and picture houses venues in UK will go into effect Thursday. This particular article was October 5th, so that
Mhm.
was yesterday, October 9th. That's a Thursday. According to Regal News release, some 45,000 employees are affected. Cineworld did not share any plans for reopening date, though the company stressed it would, quote, continue to monitor the situation closely. Uh,
Wow. What are they
yeah,
gonna do? Rehire at that point?
a lot of, I mean, I don't know. They didn't say what they didn't really. It said affected. It didn't really go into the specifics.
Right.
Quote: "We are especially grateful for and proud of the hard work our employees put in to adapt our theaters to the new protocols, and cannot underscore enough how difficult this decision was." Regal is the second largest exhibitor in U.S., right behind AMC theaters. So there's no really mention as to what the situation is with the employees. A
Mm.
lot of these, I mean, realistically, if you are monitoring, then you're probably putting people on hiatus, or essentially, I'm trying to think of the phrase now, but
It's
not
unpaid.
being
It's not for long. It's
the
unpaid, right?
furlough. Yeah, they're
Furlough.
putting them on furlough. Yeah. It is unpaid, but the point is you have like your position. The position's still yours. It just there's nothing to come to.
Yeah.
But the difference between that and being, for instance, laid off is, if you're laid off, you're no longer part of the company. You're just, we
Mhm.
can't afford to keep you anymore, or for whatever reason we have to lay you off. You're gone. Here, it's if that's they didn't say what it was, but if that's the choice they went with, then technically you still have that position,
Mhm.
but it's waiting for the opportunity to come back. And that, to me personally, feels like the sensible thing to do when you have that large of a group, because once you do know you have a date, you don't want to have to go through this entire hiring process. You just want to say, hey, these people are already there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so I assume that's what they didn't go into detail. I assume that's what they were mentioning. Now, that's number two as far as United States. Number one, AMC. So, what does AMC decide to do? AMC is the largest cinema chain in the U.S. And rival of Cinemark, said that they have no plans to shutter theaters, even as additional Hollywood blockbusters postpone their release dates to next year. Early on Tuesday, that was earlier this week, both chains said that 80% of their US based locations are open to the public and will remain so in spite of daunting headwinds. Shares of AMC were down more than 1% on Tuesday, while Cinemark shares were up more than 3%. I'm not going to go into this part here. Um, the announcement comes after Cineworld said Monday that they would temporarily shutter all their US and UK locations due to disappointing box office results and the postponements of films like Black Widow, Wonder Woman, and No Time to Die. So it's it's a bleak future here
Yeah.
for the megaplex, right? I mean, 'cause that's the whole deal.
Yeah.
These are big uh, companies. You also have to consider the smaller ones where you go, whoa, these smaller ones are probably suffering just as badly. Well, it's difficult,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, the smaller one will probably not pay. I mean, are you talking about the smaller one that are still getting those big day one releases, or like the
The dollar
what they
theater that
call the
gets it
dollar
after,
theater?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because I'm thinking because that's a huge thing, right? Those theaters usually pay like exorbitant amount of money to be able to show the movies, right? Yeah, that's how they make their that's how Hollywood makes their money, basically. Um, you got to think, and the problem is that now there are several what they would be considered blockbuster films that are not coming. Well,
yeah.
obviously that are not happening because the studios are they're concerned about attendance. So it's a chicken and egg situation, right?
Mhm.
Studios are not releasing the movies because people are not attending, and people are not
Correct.
attending because the movies are not being released. They're being moved to next year.
For the most
So
part, yeah.
for the most,
But I
yeah,
would
yeah.
wonder, I would argue against that in the sense of like, so let's say, for instance, let's just give us this for instance. Let's say, we get an announcement from MCU and they say, uh, I don't know, October 30th, they're releasing the film in the theater.
Mhm.
Would that make people go to the theater? Would that type of movie be enough for
It,
people?
it,
I don't think it would be, because if it would, then they would release it. You know what I'm saying? They
right.
wouldn't push it back. What was the point of pushing it back? I think that that what happened is like stuff like what happened with Tenet. Tenet did not do very well in the theater as far as box office goes. Tenet, for the record, guys, is Christopher Nolan's most recent film. It did good, I guess, technically. Um,
Comparably to, you know,
Comparably to what it was expecting, not necessarily. It wasn't enough to. And Chris this is a Christopher Nolan film. You know what I mean? People know who Christopher Nolan is, and I think that's kind of what scared some people, some of these companies. Like, man, if Christopher Nolan, the dude who did Batman and all the Batmans, or the more recent ones, if he can't get people out there, then you know we're not going to be able to do it either. So,
yeah.
um, I think I think the main issue here is, well, first off, what are your thoughts as far as the fact that that first off, Regal appears to be shuttering their doors. I don't know if you normally go to Regal, but I used to go to the Winter Park Regal pretty, sporadically. They did also the assigned seating and stuff like that. But it's
Mhm.
like, man, that theater is going to be completely shuttered up. That affects businesses next to them as well, because those
Mhm.
businesses used to thrive off of people coming to that particular mall.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
That
mean,
that's
I know you.
this is a big hit. This definitely it can have a big impact. Uh, Aside from all the other things that are impacting the economy now, especially small business, like you very well described. Uh, this is bad because it's basically freezing the movie theater industry, is putting it on hold,
Yeah,
which it really cannot afford to do, because then they can't afford to pay. And being an employer of a movie theater, chances are you're not going to wait the months that it'll take for them to consider, oh, now everybody's safe, oh, now everything is normal, the virus, we got the vaccine, it's working, whatever, which is not going to, as much as we and some people would like to believe that it will happen. It's not an overnight fix.
no,
it's
it's
gonna be
not. Yeah.
it's gonna be months,
Mhm.
if not even a year, you know, for it to for things to go back to what we will call the normal, if we ever have that. So I think the movie theater now it's in a big problem, because it will need to somehow innovate a way to have the experience while making people feel safe. And I don't think there's a way of making that happen that I can think of, other than the first thought that crossed my mind the other day was, well, maybe there could be. And by the way, this is not going to fix it, I'm just saying this is an alternative that could provide fruitful if well implemented with new technology. And that is, this could be a boon to the driving experience. The driving experience, remember the driving experience?
Mhm.
I think I've only had once in my entire
Oh,
life,
really? Oh, I'm
childhood,
sorry.
because there was in Puerto Rico, there was one particular driving, um, and it wasn't like a major thing or anything like that. But anyway, I'm thinking, that's safe, because you're sitting in your freaking car, you're
Mhm.
watching
Yeah.
on a very big uh, 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 movie, I mean, a very big screen, and I'm thinking, well, the projection technology and all that cannot be the same. I'm not saying we rely on the technology that we had decades ago. No, Now with all the technology that we have, we can actually improve on the fidelity, on the experience. Probably 3D, probably even have something close to that 4D experience. Who knows? Sound definitely will have to improve because you can't have just the little speakers that they used to put on the side of the car of the wind, or the door,
Oh no, they
or
don't do that
or,
anymore. They
or
yeah
or the AM FM transmitter that was crap. you
yeah.
know, it'll have to be something where you felt like you were gonna get, and I don't know how we'll do, because even providing headphones or something like that might prove a little dangerous and maybe unsanitary. Um, uh, I mean, for people being more cautious about that now, because before nobody cared. Everybody was sharing the 3D glasses that the other person had before. It
Mhm.
wasn't. But now in this new world, basically, um, some solution that has to do with people that are conscious about health, making them feel confident of going back to the movie theaters. Because I don't want to replace that. I don't think my TV, uh, or whatever TV there is. Uh, I don't think it kind of replaces the experience of going to the movie theater, where you have a communal experience with everybody else that is there, and you're having
It
your popcorn,
doesn't.
you're sitting
Yeah.
down, you're getting out of the house, you know. So unless you're like stupid filthy rich and you have your own theater separated section, of the house, where you can make it as close, because it'll never be perfect, uh or I guess it could be if you're filthy rich. But if you're filthy rich, I don't think you care about going to the movie theater because you live on another level. But for those of us,
For the peasants
well,
that
yeah, for the
exist out there.
99%, for the 99%, we like the movie theater because, yes, it was getting expensive, but I would still argue that it was cheaper than a lot of other alternatives
So
for a date night, for a movie night. For me, going out with my wife, and my wife loved the movie theater experience. Let me tell you, that's why we went so much.
yeah,
Actually,
you
we just-
I watch. I think I watch more in my lifetime. I've watched more movies than you have, but you and Judy have gone out to the films to the theater. Excuse me. Way more often than I think in last year I can probably count on one hand the movies I saw in the theater, and you'd have to start working
oh,
on your hands and
oh,
toes by some point. You know what I mean?
I will, and I will go for like whatever stupid shit was on the movie theater at that time. We were like, yes, this is totally a not movie theater movie, but let's just go out. And it was, to be fair, it was, you know, my wife has always been a bigger movie buff than I have been. So, even if the movie, for example, the movie could be crap and she will still have a good time just because we were
It's a
out.
night out. Yeah,
It's an out.
exactly. It's a night out.
It's an out. So I don't believe that experience. It's not something you could replace. I will even say that a driving will not replace it, but modify it in a sense, you know, because the problem is everybody's, or a lot of people, evidently not everybody from what we saw before, uh, is very conscious about their health,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
about this pandemic, and we know that this is not over yet. So, um, I am concerned about the movie industry in general, about the theaters, about the people that are just suddenly out of job, because I mean, this is all their movie theaters, all their movie theaters closing.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
And not to
Uh,
mention, you as I look at the movie production companies, they're also every day losing on money. And not that I'm feeling sorry for some executives and like that, but keep in mind, a movie company is not just executives.
right.
It's a whole big
It's employing a lot of,
corporation.
yeah,
Yeah, and so when a movie's like, for instance, Black Widow, give an example, when it just sits and does not make any money, it's completed, but it's not making any money. It's costing them, and the
yeah,
longer it
yeah,
goes without actually making that money back, it's just you reach to a point where you're not in any way, you're now in the negative no matter what. Even
yes,
if you had a great outing, you're not going to make that money back. And I would probably argue at some point, I would probably argue that some of those films are already there. Which is why, you had Mulan and shit come out to directly to Disney Plus and stuff like that. But the only issue with the drive, well, first off, I agree. The drive-throughs are probably the most sensible at this point, right? Because you're in your own car, you're safe and stuff like that. They actually have Walmarts, believe it or not, across the nation that are doing drive-throughs in their parking lots and really? Stuff like that. Yeah. This is happening. And then here
drive-ins.
Drive-ins. I'm sorry, drive-ins.
Okay, gotcha.
And they're setting up, films and stuff like that you can watch in their parking lots. The Enzian Theater here in Orlando, Maitland, they're doing the same thing. They've done it at, I want to say they did it at like a grocery store. God, I can't remember what the grocery. But anyway, they've set up and stuff like that. So they're doing what they can. But the issue comes down to this. You still keep in mind that the drive-in, even if it's drive-in theater, they're not making money from the ticket sales. They're making money from the concessions, And so if people are coming to a drive-in and bringing their own stuff to munch on, it's like, well, we're not making any money off of this. You know what I mean? So,
well, they'll have to make a strict policy of open your trunk and let me see what you have there. You get.
I can assure you. I can assure you, something always gets through. So again, the concessions are not making the money that you would normally want, and I don't think drive-ins ever had that issue because I think it was never the way they things set up. People will still buy popcorn, right? Because you can bring in all you want, but you're always going to have someone in the car who wants popcorn or someone in the car who wants a hot dog. You know what I mean? So you have those people.
It's part of the experience.
Correct, exactly. But the issue is now it's like, are you going to buy a concession? Are you going to get out of your car? The whole point was to be safe, and now you're going to go to the concessions where maybe there's a group of people, and it's just, you know what I mean? This is ringing.
They'll bring it to you. They'll get a scooter and they'll go in.
Yeah, then you can definitely see the price go up on that. I'm just saying.
Believe me, I'm not saying they're gonna charge the little that they were charging before. No, they're gonna charge a lot for it.
Well, for sure. But then again, that leads us back to, well, they'll just bring their own shit. You know what I mean? It's just like cost is always going to teeter on one end or the other. And then on top of that, yes, they can probably do some good stuff to try to make it quality wise, but drive-ins were never really about quality. It was just really about the cheapest way of seeing a film and paying for a group of people without having to go to the actual theater. That was the really main thing of the drive-ins, because quality was never good. Audio quality was either the box or when eventually you can tune into whatever radio station it was that was playing the actual stuff. It's never gonna. You're not gonna get Dolby. You know what I mean? You're definitely not gonna get the.
No, seriously. You could. There are speakers that does that now. I'm not sure how to implement it, but I could see a way of making it. Two soundbars side by side. Dolby Atmos or some shit like that. I could see the technology that we have now resolving the audio issue. That's why I'm not too concerned about that.
But the deal is, you would need to have the audio stuff in your car, right? It's not, because if they're going to be sending it through the radio, there's a cap, as far as the quality that comes through the air. You know what I mean? So
I'm thinking like a version of the boxes, but it'll have to be something a little bit more, on the side.
That would be, and then
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying there, and that's cool. And I can definitely, I'd definitely be down for something like that. But I can definitely see them running into some issues with, people treating it like crap and stuff like that. Suddenly you have to be constantly fixing it. But I don't know, man. It just, for me, I think the obvious answer is video on demand. It's just, it's not sexy. It's not, it's not nostalgic like going to a drive-in, but it gets the movie out to the people quick.
See,
And since we're moving into a what essentially is a digital age, it just feels like that's just I mean, for now, obviously I'm not saying, forever. I mean, we hope, right? That's
at,
the whole deal. We hope that this doesn't go on forever, but
at that point, I feel like if my option is to watch it on my TV, with my sound system and with my home experience, then paying $30 to watch a movie is not gonna be viable. At that point, I will really wait because what the hell? What's the point of watching it now? To be one of the few that says, "Oh, I saw it first."
I
I might as
mean,
well wait
that's
and watch
really
it
what it
when it
is.
comes on Amazon Prime. Uh,
Possibly. I mean, I think early adopters are going to be few. But I think the whole deal is, and I think the whole deal is come with like regular movies, right? It comes with word of mouth. Hey man, did you check out the new Predator film or whatever the hell it is? You know what I mean? It's just like, no, I didn't see it because it came to, and that's like $25. I wasn't gonna pay. Dude, I saw it, man. It's worth the $25. I mean, hey man, if you're gonna take your fucking wife out, what's the difference? You know what I mean? That's the argument. That's a
there is
conversation that you end up
there is
having.
a big difference. There is a big difference because the experience is the going out. If
Yeah,
they,
but
they
you can't go out. That's a problem.
right, that well,
It's not there. Yeah, the
that's what
option
I'm
to
saying.
do so is not there. Yeah.
They can't charge $30. I mean, I'm saying $30. They should charge something more. Granted, yes, I totally get that. Actually, not even because, but there's no choice. So I'm gonna say that's fine. 14.99. If I really, really want to watch this fucking movie, then I will pay that. What why not? 19.99. It's actually no. Fuck that. 14.99 is my ceiling. Anything over than that, it feels too much for what you're getting. Let's say the movie that I want to watch the most, whatever. I can't think of any because right now there's really nothing in particular that calls my attention that I'm like dying to watch. But let's
The
say
new
there
James
was
Bond, right?
yeah,
The
but
new James Bond.
dying.
Okay.
I'm not dying to. Okay, well, let's use that as an example. Let's say I'm a
Mhm, mhm,
huge James Bond fan,
mhm.
and I'm like dying. Like, dude, this could be freaking. I mean, this could be like we were when before we found out that the Star Wars 9 was shit. When we were excited to see to see it. Uh, uh, and the option was to see it at home and I had to pay $30. I won't pay it. First, I'm not getting the experience. I'm getting I could wait 2 months and and spend $6 versus a whole $30. It just seems like way too crazy. That's why we didn't we didn't do Mulan. Well, later on we found out that the movie was shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
even when my wife was super interested on it, we are like, yeah, but I'm not paying $30 to watch it. That just
So
seems obscenely too much for just the two of us. Now, if
it
we
could
had a
be.
big family, then
Exactly.
sure,
Yes. That's why I get your reasoning, and you and Judy would be a perfect example of someone who would probably just end up waiting
Mhm,
because you're just two people, and that's the case. But in a family house that has 3 or 4 people,
mhm,
$30 is not a lot for watching a film the time it comes out. Being able to put on subtitles when you
mhm.
really can't put subtitles on a theater. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Can we pause this?
Well, yeah.
We can pause. You know what I'm saying? So these are little things that you're like, I mean, I get it. Personally, me, when I'm at the theater, I'm in, dude. If I gotta pee, my bladder, I'm gonna need you to figure that shit out. I am not leaving the seat. You know what I mean? So because I'm like all into it, I'm completely focused. But if there's an opportunity to have all those things, oh, and by the way, I have a sound system that sounds great. I have
Mhm,
a great TV that has HDR and everything.
mhm.
I'm like, why not? It's I get it. It has to be the correct film. It has to be the film you want to be able to do that with. And you really have to have those things, but a lot of people do have those things. And a lot of homes are not just 1 or 2 people. You know what I mean? It's you have, so when you look at it that way, $30 When I was paying for two people to go to a movie, I was paying 36.
Mm.
$30 is not a lot for the additional stuff I get. Again, I watch a lot of things with subtitles, even in English. I watch it with subtitles nowadays because it's just things that you miss.
Yeah, but I still feel like the stuff that you get yes, you are getting stuff, but there's experiences that you won't have. First of all, you're still in your fucking house. You're not getting out of the
True.
house, which is the point of going out, is
I
to go
know,
out.
but the
And
problem is that
second,
there's no option right now. That's the whole
no,
deal. Is
no,
like in the end, you want to
uh,
have those things. But
yeah,
for now, because we can have those things, this is
mm,
not the ultimate solution. This is the solution. This is the new normal, right? This is
yeah,
which I know we all hate that term, but the point is, for theaters, or movies, I should say, this is the new normal until we can get back to the old.
yeah.
It's not
No,
the
I
ultimate
get
solution.
that.
You know what I mean?
I get that. Well, then they need to adjust accordingly for the prices. If they want to attract more people to do this, because not a lot of people, went to the movie theaters for X or Y reason. You said it. The movie theaters were struggling, but hey, if they can watch the movie that is, the newest movie that is out there, and it's at a decent price, it is an affordable price. It's not freaking $30. Then I can see more people adopting this new, form of this new method of business. And guess what? Next thing you know, you have a viable solution where when things go back to normal, if ever, you can go to the movie theater, or you can just, for a lower price, you can just watch it out, watch it at home.
I think honestly that's the
Although I
reason
don't,
why.
yeah, I don't think that
Um,
will implement that
yeah, I think
the
that's
option.
the main reason why it's $30. It's because if you make it less than that, you you may ultimately doom theaters forever. You know
Mm,
what I mean? It's like the reason why they do, the reason you want to pick a $30 price tag is like, well, that's roughly what you would pay if you went out for two people.
right.
All right. And granted, you're not going out and you're staying home. Um, but the difference is if we make it $20 and we do that for on, and now you have, God forbid, but let's say the pandemic lasts another 7-8 months, you have a certain amount of people who are now used to this. Let's say
Yeah.
it's successful. It's not making billions of dollars because, like I said last week or the week before, the days of $1 billion revenue film are gone for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying forever, but definitely for a long time. So you're not going to have that. But let's say it's successful and movie companies are thriving a little bit and they're going, okay, we're getting at least a good portion of the money back and all this stuff at $20. Now theaters are back. And theaters are back to asking for $36 for two people. They're like, no, we want video on demand. Thank you. So now you have inadvertently caused the movie theaters to come back.
Cannibalize itself. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So
Unless they don't offer that up, unless they don't, they just switch back. That's why I said, yeah, they probably won't offer the option of picking at the same time, because then a lot of more people will opt for doing it at home, and b, pirating the movie will be just so
correct.
easy
Yeah.
and such
That's
a
another
private
thing. Yeah.
business. So yeah. That's
Yeah.
why this will have to be like the patch while things get sorted out.
Sort
You
it out.
know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I don't know. The future of the theaters, movies, movies can still go on. So things are still being filmed for the most part, even through the pandemic, believe it or not. But theaters, in essence, are very difficult. Have a very difficult future, if any, at this point. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. You're like, it's just, man, it's not happening. Like there's a big film festival called South by Southwest that happens in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
That did not happen this year for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And all those there's a bunch of like little independent films that got funded now are looking for some sort of
Big.
publisher to get it
Mhm.
out there, or a distributor. That didn't happen. So you have, God knows, countless films sitting on shelves somewhere,
Mm.
going, who knows when we're going to be able to get, because we don't have a way of showing it to anybody to have them fund this. And then on top of that, we're going to have to take less because we can't say, we want this much for whatever, because they're going to be like, we're not going to make that money back because no one's
Yeah.
going to the theater now. So it has to be half of that or a third of that. So I don't know, man. It's a little sad. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little sad.
It's a bleak picture. It's a bleak picture for it, and I hope that there is a way the you know the movie theaters and Hollywood and the entire movie industry can figure this out, because it is, I mean, it is it's a very popular form of entertainment that it'll be a shame to lose. I don't believe forever, obviously.
No.
We're gonna get to the other
There's
side
an
of
end
things.
there's an
But
end to this, yeah, for sure.
yeah, but it's gonna affect a lot of people, not having it, and I'm referring to to obviously the people that work there. Um,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
and also, that's another. We leave stressful times already as one less venue that we have, one less, escape. And the solution is not simple, because, like I said, it is that chicken and egg situation. Hollywood's not going to release movies to movie theaters that are where people are not going, and people are not going to go because there's no movies to see.
Because of the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said, sir. Well said. All right, guys. Well, that takes us to the end of an awesome, real episode 232 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And, of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. Thank you so much. What I'm going to say is going to be pretty simple, guys, as my closing statement. And my closing statement is simple. Voting time is here. And realistically, I don't give a shit who the hell you vote for. My only thing is that you go out and vote. Because when it all is said and done, you cannot complain if you never fucking voted. And that's the God's honest truth. You have zero complaint. You have zero reason to say anything, because you never went and used your one truth, the one true thing we have, guys, the one true voice that we had is that vote. I know a lot of people feel like the votes don't count, and that cannot be further from the truth, guys.
They don't count when you don't make them count.
Correct. Yeah, it doesn't count if you don't fucking use it. And here's a realistic: when we're in a situation like this where one president is up for re-election and the other one is trying to come in, if you don't vote, guess who actually gets that vote? The current one in the office.
Establishment.
Yeah, the establishment. That's actually exactly where that goes to. So nothing can be more important at this time. And again, I don't care who you're voting for. Vote for whoever you want, but do not sit home. My wife and I, we got our mail-in ballots. This is what we do every time. We get our mail-in ballots. We do our thing on them. And then we actually drive and take them shits in. You know what I'm saying? We actually go to the place and here you go, boop, right into the ballot box. So seriously, use your vote. And on top of that, keep wearing your mask, because obviously when you don't, shit happens. Mr. Dream Twister, take us home.
POTUS is gonna be in Sanford this Monday.
I
if
heard.
You're planning, if you're planning on assisting, I will suggest you wear your mask on. Don't show your face around my house, because I will shotgun you out of my house.
You're nicer than me. You're nicer than me, sir.
I will.
I was going to say, if you are interested in getting coronavirus, then by all means, attend said whatever this is.
I will treat you like a zombie, basically. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Go vote, mofos. Go vote. No, but seriously, I'll probably be doing the same thing as you said. I finally got my ballots, and and filling them out. And I mean, whatever. If you decide to mail it in, do mail it in. It doesn't matter. Just do something. Just
Do
don't
something.
stay,
Yeah. For real.
cross your arms and do nothing, because just like you said, that's not gonna count.
Then you can't. Yeah, you can't complain. Whatever the results are, you cannot complain. So
you cannot complain. That's right.
yeah, for sure. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
GG!